And we're live.
And we're live.
Hello and welcome to Game Theory Gang 135. I'm Matty Allen with ChrispyMan of Hexfire.io and Fast Abdul.
Wow.
Welcome.
That's amazing. 135.
Yeah.
You know that, when you add that up, that's 9.
Hey, that's got to mean something, right?
Yeah, magic number. Magic number.
Well, everybody hit the like and subscribe button. Share this out. We got a great show for you tonight.
Or don't. You can do that too, right?
It might be good.
I brought my magnifying glass today. So I can really pay attention.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
So you can see the gains for ants.
Yeah, exactly. I can see the gains for ants. Look, I'm Abdul. Fast Abdul.
Well, it's funny you should bring that up because the topic tonight, according to the thumbnail, is: do you want to get rich or believe in something?
Yes. Yes. Was that enthusiastic? Well, yeah, I think you can do both for sure. And with crypto, I think you could do both. I think you need both of them in crypto for longer term success for sure of crypto, right? Meaning there has to be opportunity, not rich, whatever that means, but longer term there's got to be opportunity, and then of course community helps drive that. That's where you end up with a movement, right? Rather than just simply. Did you guys hear somebody drumming?
Yeah, there's some wind noise, maybe a camel or something.
Oh yeah, the camelbacks. Yeah. So yeah, I'm just thinking about what you're asking, Maddie. Yeah, I think we want to do both. That's a good question for tonight too. I've been thinking about this a little bit because somebody gave me a good compliment. I thought it was a nice compliment, and it was about the fact that I am continuing to talk about Hex all the time. And obviously on this show, I keep trying to dominate with, I keep trying to get in a dominant position about Hex, keep talking about it. But there's a big world out there, right? And so one of the questions that's been coming to me lately has been, so really, am I going to continue to tell people that it's a good idea to get into Hex when the Hex price goes up another 5x or 10x? And I think the simple answer to that is yes. But I feel like I need to be communicating that I'm talking about long time frames. I'm not talking about measuring how we do buying now and then trying to sell during the bear. That's not what I'm talking about. Right, because it's quite possible we'll be in maybe multiples of this value, but when we get up to 5, 6, 10, 20 cents, which I do think is possible, will I still be telling people that they should get into Hex, right? And for the very, very short term, I don't have a real answer for that, as to how to approach that with people. I think for the long term, yeah, I do believe that. Otherwise, I wouldn't have put 5, 6 figures out. Well, I guess it's not that high, but 4 or 5 figures out Quattro Cinco myself, right?
Yeah.
So anyways, I think that's a good question for the audience. I want to hear what they got to say about that because, a lot of us, we felt a little bit hurt, over the idea that, hey, we were buying on the run up in 2021. And, obviously if you were trying to sell that at the bottom, that really sucked, didn't it? And so
well, the Hex has always been more of a long-term game as well as a short-term game for people who want to play one or the other or both. One thing that I've observed in my 7 or 8 years in crypto is that, like, by definition, people who are new on average buy the top because they create the top. And so this idea that we can like onboard people into crypto and everybody gets to buy the bottom, it's statistically false. And, there's a famous study that I would like to reference. I had ChatGPT pull it up for me here. There's like a famous story or a famous article that found that the best traders were dead. It's not what you think though. or maybe it is. It refers to like an anecdote shared by Fidelity Investments about their best performing accounts belonging to either people who had forgotten about them or had passed away. And I guess it's noting that there's no like formal study, but it's, you know, you don't need a psychological analysis for everything. You know, this makes sense that people who are more long-term thinking or who are not even thinking about trading to the point where they don't even remember that they have accounts, those are the people who are doing the best in terms of long-term investing, compared to people who are trying to time the market or make frequent trades. And so while we are standing out in the crypto world as a group of people that are going against the grain of like a world full of traders, I think it makes a lot of sense. And honestly, there are a lot of OG Bitcoiners that want to think long term. Fast, I don't know if you fixed your mic yet, but you're welcome to unmute if you got it worked out.
I think I'm good. How do I sound?
Sweet.
Cool.
Good.
Better.
Good.
No more drumming.
I don't feel like dancing, so we're a lot better off.
Hey, Kareem.
Bang, bang. What's up, fellas?
It's your Kareem, not just my Kareem. It's your Kareem.
So I've been running around all day.
Oh, you're good. We were just going to check in with Fast Abdul about his take on the question we're going around the room.
Nice.
Here.
Do you shill Hex at the top? How do you know when the top is? Unless you do, then you know you can keep shilling and it's okay. I've been hearing this a lot this cycle, like, oh, I'm not going to do like last cycle. This time I'm going to sell the top and then I'm going to wait 2 years for the bottom.
That's right. I'm
Good
going
luck
to
with that.
I'm going to recycle this time.
Yeah, which is a great plan, but almost no one will pull it off. And the people that do will pull it off out of luck or perhaps because they died, like Maddie said, or, you know, some of their fluke. Like, and there might be like the 1% of the 1% that pulls off because of skill, but it's almost certainly going to be at least half luck. So, you know, for us to say like, oh, I'm going to stop shilling at this date is like, it's not practical. Nobody knows the time or the date when it will come. So that goes for the return of Christ as well as the top of the bull market. Keep shilling.
Yeah, I think the funny thing is people kind of have it backwards because the whole premise, the thought process already is actually wrong. Because a lot of the time, people that think like that on the following cycles, all the people who become the reason why disbelief rallies are so popular, they think, oh, it's the top, and then they sell, and then they watch in disbelief how they continue to run, and they're like, fuck, I made a mistake, and then they'll go back in, and then it will become near the top again, but then they will convince themselves, oh, it has to run again, and then they'll be the first one to cry again, saying, oh my God, that was the top, and da-da-da. Instead of just understanding that the true good value is to look at it just like how we look at stakes. It's like, I'm going to keep shilling no matter what, because I know what a product, keyword product, will do and continue to do for years and years to come. Now, if people want to cherry pick and take clickbaits or snippet, but like, oh, this one time when you shill it was a top, and not care about the other time when we shill and then we did 100x and nobody was complaining then that's them, because they're failing the whole premise to understand that it's stay day and chill and it's constant, because it's going to be to a point where those who really master that, they're going to have their ladder, they're going to live their best life, they're going to continue to spread the good word. Some of those ladders are going to end near the top and they're going to be grateful of that. Some of them won't, but it don't matter, because the one that will just take care of business and they'll keep rolling through. And that's the best way to look at it.
Right. And I think you're saying this, but I wanted to put a fine tip on it. People who purchased Hex at 40 cents and held it liquid for sure, they haven't recouped. And if they bought at 40 cents and they haven't quite, you know, and even if they staked it and they haven't quite made up for that difference yet, I mean, they are still technically on paper underwater, right? And that's where this kind of question comes up, right, all the time. And and I think what you're saying is, with a long enough time frame, you beat that. All right, because otherwise, what's the alternative when we're talking to people about Hex during this cycle? Come back in a year and a half? Is that the answer? Wait till the next bottom? you know.
As
And
long as they do what they're supposed to do, because it's also a friendly reminder to people that, again, I was the perfect example. I did not come in the beginning. Some new people may have forget that. You know what I mean? I missed the first
Kareem
one.
frozen for anybody else?
not for
No,
us.
I'm good. Can you hear me, Maddie?
He's chilling. He's not
Yeah,
frozen.
chilling, exactly. So for those who don't know and new people, right? I missed the first 100x. I wasn't here. But that was why it's such a great story, because I helped actually make one of the tops literally as I was buying in, and then it retraced, 85, 87%. But because I understood the product, I understood what I was getting into, and I continued to DCA, right? Dollar cost averaging, right? All the way to that local low, and then the run up after, and then the rest is happy ever after. But the reasoning was I understood what I was getting into. And although I reach a local top or whatnot, because I continue to accumulate and do what I'm supposed to do and build my ladder, eventually, like Crispy said it best, I ended up being cut up, break even, then more than break even, and then, the exits start coming in. So the only difference will just be those who really understand it will continue to DCA, and they'll just get to that break even faster on the way back up. Those who don't, that's fine too, if they hold liquid only, you know what I mean? Even though they should be staking because, they're losing via inflation. But eventually, even those people, when we make a new all-time high, will be hold again. So, but it's about understanding what you're getting yourself into, understanding how the system works, and having that long-term view, how it allows you to believe and not worried about cycles so much, but just knowing about, hey, what's the exit strategy based on the long-term view instead of just short-term.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's so important as we're having conversations with people, because it can happen again, right? I mean, you can forget about Hex for a moment, right? This is a phenomenon with crypto in general, right? Because people are attracted by the green candles, and they'll come in to Bitcoin at 120 because somebody said it's going to 1 million, and it may only make it to 240, and then I don't know if this time will be the same. But it wouldn't be insane for it to get to 240 and then have an 80% retracement.
Exactly.
And so 240, once you get to 240, if you do an 80% retracement, if it goes down that far, that's 48K. So now they're underwater, 50%, right? Mm-hmm. And what would our advice be to them if I was Michael Saylor? You hold, because there's no second best. I'm just going to hold.
Mortgage your home.
In fact, I'll mortgage my home and buy more at 48. And tongue in cheek, but he's done very well with his strategy, obviously. But why? Because enough time went by. He didn't get fired, before the price came back up.
He did.
I don't know if he actually got fired, or they just kind of restructured. So you know how corporate is, right?
He had the record for all the top 500 companies. He had the longest tenure as a CEO, and the board took him down. He had a 30-year run.
He did. But what I'm saying is that might have been a hedge against if this all goes bad.
Yeah.
But they didn't kick him out the door.
We're both right.
Yeah. But needless to say, right now he could probably own that company and be like double CEO, whatever the hell a double CEO is.
Oh, right? Totally.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, how do you turn around and be pissed at that guy for doubling the value, tripling the value of your company?
Exactly.
Totally. Yeah. And it's funny, actually. Today, Saylor is in the hot seat with Bitcoiners, because
dumb shit.
He flip-flopped his own position in 2022. He said, the government can seize your Bitcoin, or can seize your gold, just like they have all throughout history. And he rattles off like all the times in history that they have. Mm-hmm. And then recently in 2024, he claimed that you have to be a paranoid crypto person to think that could happen, and it's fine for somebody else to hold your keys. And so I want to remind the audience that lots of Bitcoiners have said, not your keys, not your coins, but I took it one step further. And my phrase is, not your keys, not crypto.
Exactly.
And that's a really important distinction. That's a huge difference between the old saying and the new saying. Because when you say not your keys, not crypto, that means that's something that's held on a centralized exchange or through a middleman like Michael Saylor, that's not crypto, even though they're calling it Bitcoin. It's not crypto. It's
Absolutely.
not Bitcoin because you don't hold your own keys. And it says it in the first paragraph of the white paper, the Satoshi white paper. It says to remove middlemen, basically, it means to hold your own keys.
Peer to peer, baby. You know,
that's right.
No, like, oh, everybody focus on one guy that controls everybody's money, and then one day, right, like many times, oh, by the way, I changed my mind. It's all mine now, or whatever.
Yep.
So, or it's not me, Maddie. It's not me. It's government says that I should lock your shit up. Like, what? Come on now. Like, it's just like it don't make no sense. And then he thinks that because he's been popular lately, that he can just say something so outrageous. I mean, it's literally, it's like, do you crypto, bro? Like, what's going on? Like, we went over this. Like, do we have to reteach you that? Like, come on now. But I get it why he's doing that. What people need to understand is that because they're about to load up with a lot more derivatives and do the same garbage that, you know what I mean, they've done in the traditional market. They're trying so hard to bring that into crypto. And if we're not careful, they're going to try to do that duct tape garbage again. Because Michael Saylor is getting to a point where MicroStrategy, it will allow him to keep stacking a lot of Bitcoin. And they're saying that because maybe deep inside, he's projecting what he wants to do in the future, potentially becoming a custodian himself, kind of like via Coinbase.
Well,
so
he essentially
rehypothecate their coin and then using as collateral and da-da-da. But he don't understand that you have great projects like Hex, for example, where literally you can do some of those collateral stuff. Or if you understand how pure DeFi works with, you know, providing liquidity, where you can do some of those things without giving away your keys. Like,
Matt
already does that.
Maddie's going to show us why it's a big deal, but at the same time, I don't think it's a big deal myself, because I just think of it in context of his business. For him to project and to say, not your keys, not your Bitcoin at this point. Well, then what about all the people buying his stock in order to have a piece of Bitcoin?
Exactly.
So his business model is to sell more of his stock, so the price of his company goes up. I'm not saying, hey, like it, hate it, whatever, but I mean, that's what's
MicroStrategy is leverage Bitcoin. That's basically what it is. Like, guys, respectfully, like if you look at the chart, it looks parabolic, crazy, but like the company is not that good. They don't really do that well. You know what I mean? It's literally the Bitcoin strategy that got it there. And even that, the leverage is high. It's overvalued. Now, again, if Bitcoin continues to rally, it could. But this is the kind of thing where you start rhetorics like that, people might change their mind and start dumping the thing, you know, because the chart looks really, really parabolic. Right? If you can put it up, you laugh. It's still not as parabolic that it was in a dot-com bubble, because it's a very old stock. But if you zoom it out and you look at it on the weekly, monthly chart, it looks like blow off top. So at any time, like if you keep this kind of stuff, people could just be like, all right, bro. Now
you talking about his company stock?
Yeah, the MicroStrategy stock. Mm-hmm. So I understand why he's saying stuff like that, because he has to continue the narrative to sustain the price.
Not financial advice, but if it's possible to short that company, you would want to short it right around the top. Right?
Yeah, like literally, it's about still maybe 60% more from the top of that coin. But if you look at the chart. I wish we could put it up. It's so funny.
So maybe you guys saw, or I don't know. Maybe I'm just like the weirdo that like still watches all the Bitcoin drama and stuff. But basically, there was a showdown between Safedine, a moose, and Michael Saylor. And they did a podcast together in the past month or two. And they basically had a meltdown on tape, and they still released it. And it was Saylor saying, "What's wrong with getting yield on your Bitcoin?"
Oh my God.
And Safedine was like, "Obviously, everything is wrong with that." And so these two guys that are like the leaders of the modern Bitcoin movement, which like Saylor, he's kind of proven himself to be more of a middleman and not a Bitcoin related, although he's the best known.
What is wrong with it?
Somebody send a brochure for hex.com. You didn't get the memo.
So he's gonna. so Saylor was like describing a plan for him to loan his Bitcoin to like the big banks in return, you know, in exchange for yield. And it's like, you know, what
He's trying to turn Bitcoin.
what part of that
Yeah.
has anything to do with crypto? And so that's Safety's approach. And of course, Safety wrote the Bitcoin Bible called the Bitcoin Standard, which is advocating for hard money. And that's the part that lines up way more with Hex. So it's kind of ironic that they're both representing different aspects of how Bitcoin could be more like Hex. Saylor's on the side of like he wants yield, and Safety is on the side of like hold your own keys and have hard money.
Exactly. And I wish both of them will really truly understand Hex, because they'll realize that we give them both what they want, because I understand where the OG is coming from.
That'll come. That'll come.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's basically what crypto and Bitcoin was invented for. On the other hand, we get what Saylor is trying to do, because that was kind of his end game strategy. Because again, he's still a stock market guy. That's what he came up from. So that's why he likes some of the tools of the stock market. The same way we've been saying to many people what the super wealthy do, the billionaires, right? Even Elon Musk included, right? What do they do with their stock? They never sell. They just loan against it. They borrow money, right? And you can make mergers, acquisition with that. You can live your best life with that. You can literally
put the value to work.
We're talking about 2-3%. And if you start growing at double digits every year, I mean, literally it's like you're borrowing money interest free. So I understand why he's trying to do that, but he don't understand that the current system that Bitcoin is set up on, you don't have those things set up, where it's like literally you end up just giving away the key, which sucks, which is the reason why we already knew from back then, even when Hex wasn't invented yet, that Ethereum was superior tech. This is the reason why the stable coins and all the real DeFi is built, started there. Obviously now it's on multiple chains, but the point is this is where Bitcoin hit its limitation to begin with. You know what I mean? So now he's starting to understand that what we already understand, that the end game and the biggest market in the world, it's going to be something related to like DeFi, something related to like the bond market, yield, and all this other stuff. But in the current structure of Bitcoin, he's going to realize that you can't do that over there unless you start giving away the keys, which true crypto people are not going to tolerate.
I don't know.
They deserve to lose all their money.
I don't know if that's true, Kareem, but I think we can maybe we can boil it down this way, right? We don't want to be like TradFi, right? You know, like the way things are today. We want it to be better and different, right? Whatever.
Yes.
That could have a lot of definition, right? But on the other end of it, it is extremely unlikely that however many billion people we have on Earth all have their own hardware wallets and control their own keys, right? And so I'm just saying from a practical point of view.
Well, yeah, but that's what it's called. That's what it's
called. Wait.
So
did you say that's not possible?
I didn't say it wasn't possible.
You say it's not practical.
It's not practical that's going to happen. So is there a technology that, and this is when I talk about jumping the shark and things happening, right? So Saylor, perhaps this conversation needs to take place between him and other people like this, so there's enough attention put on it. How do you get to a point where both you can satisfy people owning their own keys and being able to transact?
Well, I'm glad you asked, because I'm vetting a company that I met at the Ethereum conference that has, in my opinion, a much more advanced solution for like sharding your keys and having more options in terms of like social recovery versus like self recovery, etc. And I don't just bring anything along to this audience. We have a really valuable audience here, and so I'm doing more background work, and I've actually convinced the company to add Pulse Chain to their app. But there may be a future where people can have an app on their phone that allows them to use a combination of technologies that have existed, and this future will also be multi-chain.
Right.
There is a way to create a seed that works on both Bitcoin and Ethereum. I remember when Richard was like asking for help on this like several years ago, whenever he was basically trying to figure out.
Isn't
how
that
to do
kind of the
side
beauty
payments.
about having something that's EVM compatible? Because technically your key work on Pulse chain like it works on Ethereum, like it works on, whatever, account that you add or network that you add in a way. So it's like one of those things where once again we found like some of the tech on Bitcoin just need to catch up because it's just been, like so backwards to some degree. And then to go back to what Crispy was saying earlier, the real secret is understanding what we used to call, and we still call today, decentralized enough. The reason why, I give credit to Dan Larimer because he pioneered that, what we call delegated proof of stake, was you want to be decentralized enough that you don't have to worry about centralized attacks. You don't have to worry about, everybody want to be using Coinbase as their custody, or everybody wants to use your centralized exchange. It's not, to me, that's not decentralized enough, because that's when troubles start happening. But if we get to a point where in text to technology and text to smartphone, where all the people around the world, they may not have, big hardwares and all this other stuff, but if they have powerful phones, because I truly believe some of this stuff is going to happen thanks to mobile. And phone's going to get powerful enough. I mean, they already are powerful enough where a phone can literally just be like almost a computer. That you're going to have your hot wallet for some of your key stuff. And obviously, you're going to have the storage stuff for the thing, because you don't want to travel with the phone.
And I'd like to sum that up as technology needs to change, whether it's the company that Maddie's talking about or some methodology you're talking about. Kareem, let me just throw this as a nice one for you. You guys are all looking at monitors right now. We're watching video, right? You guys see this, right? Okay, the people listening, there was a time. What I'm getting at about this, there was a time where video and computers weren't together. They weren't like peanut butter and jelly. You couldn't do both. You couldn't do both. I had to buy a $900 card. I was the only one. I was the only one in 40 miles, right, or further, that had a card that could do this, and I could take video and show it on a computer. Oh my God, this was amazing. This is 1995 or something like that. Look at where we are today, right? You guys don't even think about it.
Exactly.
We just do it everywhere. I have video on my TV, my wall, my phone. I want it on my drapes. I can do that. I want the wall panels to have video. I can do it. I want to project it upside down, inside out. I do whatever the hell I want to do with video. But that was not a thing. So the technology will come. We just don't know what it's going to look like exactly.
We just have a hardware wallet built into your phone, period. So you'd have like iPhone Trezor edition, and preferably something cheap, like whatever Android model with built-in Trezor.
Samsung has that too.
Because you need it to run through like Africa and Asia, like places where people would not buy $150 hardware wallet like we would, right? Those are the people who need that, and once they have it, everybody will have it, and it'll become cheaper.
Exactly, and that's what I love. Like an all-in-one.
Guys, it's not like with Bitcoin. You can't really do any DeFi with Bitcoin unless you're doing it with wrap Bitcoin, which
I
is
can do
like
wait. I can do that on Pulse Chain.
You can do DeFi with wrap Bitcoin on Pulse Chain, which is double wrapped because it's actually wrapped Bitcoin from Ethereum that's been bridged to Pulse Chain. So, but like there's two bridges who kind of possess your tokens in that case, right? So Bitcoin will never, for most people, in my opinion, will never actually become a strong DeFi tool. So if Michael Saylor's looking to leverage his Bitcoin to make money, like he's, at the very least, he's doing it with bridge Bitcoin or wrap Bitcoin. He's not doing it on the Bitcoin chain because it's not fast or functional enough.
I guess his plan is to lend it to the banks and have them guarantee it basically with their reserves. And so the banks would lend it to traders, and then if the traders lose it, then the banks would cover it with their fiat reserves.
He's finally starting to realize what we realized years ago. And this is why he's still backwards. And then by the time he does that, if he gets approved, once they lose all the coins again, he's going to be looking really, really stupid. And that's why the OG Bitcoin that's been there, but like, wait a minute, where have we seen this movie before? We're not going to be dumb enough to make that same mistake, because now it becomes a choice. Now it becomes an insult of all the years of everything that you have learned. Yes, I can make more money, but like I told people are bad at doing risk assessment. oh, but Kareem, we can, this is how Bitcoin goes to 1 million and that. Yeah, but what if people lose their coin? Now all of a sudden you zero, 1,000x of zero is still zero. You know what I mean? And that's why he's gonna have to learn the hard way that you just can't do it. And this is why it's inferior tech. That's just what it is compared to.
What if the bank loses your Bitcoin? Because like, do they know how to secure it properly? And even if they do know how to secure it properly, it's just like centralized exchanges. It's this huge target for hackers versus like 1 million people with their own Trezor wallets, where you'd have to be like equal difficulty to hack into each one.
Exactly.
If the bank is doing the same thing, and they have like $2 billion worth of Bitcoin or some, insane number, then like the hackers can hyper focus on that, and until they succeed. So I think that is one of the dangers of centralization, is making a big target on your back.
And Satoshi would be rolling over in his grave.
Yeah, exactly. And you're still dealing with people. I already deal with smart contracts, right? Even when we talk about wrap Bitcoin and stuff like that, things are wrapped. At least it's smart contract who are literally immutable versus dealing with people that can make mistakes.
Yeah. Or like, you know what? Like, find out the guy in the bank who's in charge of the Bitcoin, and then like wait outside his apartment building with a wrench and like hit him in the knees until he like gives you the Bitcoin. That would be that's what I would do if I was a criminal, which I'm not.
Don't try this at home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he's going. He deserved that backlash because he's going backwards. It's almost like he hasn't learned what he was supposed to learn all along, especially when he didn't know what Bitcoin was supposed to be, and now he finally came around. But then now he's getting clouded again by money, but not understanding the real value of decentralization. Like, that's crazy.
As you can see on the screen, this is the tweet that Michael Saylor himself wrote in 2013, saying, "Bitcoin's days are numbered. Triple space. It seems like just a matter of time before it suffers the same fate as online gambling," which I will point out is also doing very well these days.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, regulatory changes and whatnot. We can spin this positively. Can you imagine just how wealthy he would be right now if he had taken the plunge then? Just think about how he could have changed things. He would be a much wealthier man and company.
Yeah, exactly.
But he's always 10 years behind.
He's
10 years. He's going to buy Hex in 10 years.
Yeah, if he gets smart enough.
But you know what? It's okay that that's the way it worked out for him.
Sure. Yeah.
Because it really did help the whole ecosystem, crypto in general, right? This whole idea. I mean, what other company did what he did? I mean, at least publicly. What other company did what he did with MicroStrategy?
That we know of one in Japan.
Yeah, it was few and far between, and he's the best example of somebody buying from a corporate perspective, and that kind of rides the line between real crypto and fake crypto. It's like, are we just going to reinvent the old system with new winners and losers, or are we actually going to change? And that's the hot debate. That's what makes this topic so interesting.
Hard, long battle. That's for sure.
Well, who will the winners be in this scenario?
I mean, I think Hex is in a good spot.
Amazing spot. And by the way, guys, if anything, what that should tells the people watching, if you haven't figured it out already, and Richard figured out a long time ago, that guy is a little bit fake. We don't really care about decentralization, the crypto movement, none of that. It's just money, which is fine. But the fact that he lies about it is crazy, because how can you go from that and then not learn all the important things for years, and you come out with that same garbage? It's like, it's crazy. It's almost an insult to the movement as a whole and what crypto was invented for. And he's showing his true color, that for him is all just about money, because when you put two and two together, the incentive is clear. He needs stuff like that to continue, because you need to catch the next bid for his MicroStrategy to continue to go up, because the stock is going parabolic. I'm not saying it's going to crash tomorrow, but it's going very, very parabolic. But then again, he needs the support of the Bitcoiners as they continue to, adhere to the ethos, and Bitcoin continue to rise. And MicroStrategy is basically leverage Bitcoin, right, 2 to 3x. This is the reason why literally the value of that Bitcoin and the value of the MicroStrategy, the stock is literally 2x. Literally value what Bitcoin is. So now it's like, as long as he still get the favors of the maxis and doing the right thing and promoting the right thing. All right, cool. People who have 401ks and stuff like that, that money that they can't take out, okay, they'll go buy MicroStrategy. But they understand that they're only doing that because that's money they can't technically take out because maybe they don't want to deal with a penalty like I did or whatever. But at least they know that, all right, cool, this is just the bag that I have over there. But he's still talking about the good ethos and crypto and blah, blah, blah. But the moment that starts to change, those people might say, you know what, fuck that. This guy don't care because he wants to do all kinds of rehypothecation. We don't know if they really have the coins. We don't know if it's going to be like the real self-custody that needs to be. And at that point, people might say, you know what, this stock is too high. The value, the risk is not outweighing the reward. So maybe it's time to cash out. And then next thing you know, it just start going the other way. I mean, Maddie, can you pull out the chart?
Of MicroStrategy?
Yeah, I want you to look at it. It's funny. And then zoom it out.
Crispy or Fast Abdul, you guys got that? I don't have I don't have legacy finance in my charts.
I can pull it up with the golden ratio too.
MicroStrategy stock. Boom.
I can pull up a MicroStrategy meme coin.
Let me see if I can grab it. I'm going to trading. I'm going to go to trading.
Has it been launched in the last 30 seconds? Yes or no?
Lord.
Well, let's see. MicroStrategy, right?
Yeah, MSTR. Well, I have a version here.
Yeah, I want to look at it with the master, huh? MSTR. The master. It's the master.
I'm gonna get trading view.
Maddie, I just shared my screen. Can you
Dip Catcher's got a thing on there now.
Let me know if you can see my screen.
That's where I'm on trading view as well.
All right.
Zoom in.
You see this was the .com bubble. Those people to realize, right?
Can you zoom in, Cream?
Oh wait, it's not letting me make it large.
Control plus or whatever.
See that?
It's like a bag of eggplant.
Yeah.
Nice. So what I'm wanting people is that you see that what he's doing right now is close to maybe somewhere around here, $200. And then this was a .com bubble. So 313. So we're still low compared to that. But the moment it gets that, trust me, traders especially, they're gonna trigger that thing. Now, again, at current price, the 219 that people are seeing, it's value based on obviously their Bitcoin bag, but it's already valued at over 2x. So example, if the Bitcoin bag is worth $2 billion, this is an example, the stock is already overvalued at more than $4 billion. And we know the company is not doing that well. It's literally just based on the Bitcoin bag. So it's like he wants to add more and more leverage. And then when he connects the bank or whatever, and near the top, he's going to exit like crazy, right? And then the people are going to be left holding the bag of his shitcoin, which is the MicroStrategy. And then he's going to go own the real Bitcoins. So that's why I'm just like warning people. He's doing that on purpose because as higher the price goes, everybody knows you need the next round of buyers. Now it's getting heavy. You need big money. And sometimes big money is already in. So what do? You need options. You need more leverage. And to be able to do that, you have to give the custody to the bank to be able to use it as collateral. To then you can add the leverage on top of the leverage on top of the leverage. And this is how it becomes the beginning of the end. Because it's no longer sustainable growth. You know what I mean? It's just like crazy stuff. So that's why I wanted to kind of show you guys that to get to see.
So are they
why he's saying those things? Because he has to maintain the parabola. You understand? If no buyer comes in, he has to create the fake buyers. And the way you create fake buyers is via leverage, borrowing money. The same way he's been borrowing money. Imagine now if he can do what he's trying to do, he won't even have to borrow money. He will just go post the thing as collateral and then leverage it up again. That's how you get leverage on top of leverage. And even though you're doing 3x or 5x leverage, it's a force multiplier. If you do a 3x, then you do a 5x on top of the 3x, next thing you know, it's 15x leverage because it's like you borrowed the money, you got more than double valuation. Now you attract new buyers coming in at that price point. And then now, because you're using the thing as a collateral, you will take the new valuation and you will deposit it as a collateral to then borrow more money. And then it's like, it becomes a feedback loop. But then ultimately, once it gets close to the top, he just unload all the shares on people's head. Remember, with those bankers, he has infinite liquidity, bigger than anywhere else in any exchange. And then by the time the price goes back and Bitcoin go to his next bear market, people are going to be left holding the bag. You think, like you were saying earlier, let's say Bitcoin goes to 200K, and then 80% retrace, and then people are like, oh my God, I'm down 50, 60%. The people on MicroStrategy, they're not going to be down 50, 60%. They're going to be down 90% because it's like I just said, it's a force multiplier. It's already overvalued by 2-3x. And if you add more leverage with the borrowed money and the options, it's even more. So now all of a sudden, if the underlying goes down 50% and you're like 10x leverage on top of that, boy, oh boy, you literally go down negative 99% based on your top.
I guess the market is already giving him a PE ratio of like 7 if he's promising 10%.
You want to share my screen if you can hear me?
Got it.
And so this backs up a little bit of what you're saying, Kareem.
Can you zoom in at all?
Yeah, it does show additional information. So what we're looking at here, let me see if I can make this.
Can you put it on the monthly chart so people can see the parabola moving?
I'm not sure what you just asked.
Oh, like can you put it on the monthly, like it's daily right now? Can you put it on a bigger time frame?
Well, I want to show this one first, and then I'll.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Right. So just looking at daily here, and I know it is difficult to see this particular screen. Might be better off with having brought up.
Just enlarge the screen next to the publish and the picture. There's like a.
This guy here.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Kareem. All right. So if you look here, you see this was the 21 cycle with MicroStrategy right here at the beginning. We have this golden ratio indicator that came up, and it said, "Hey, listen, consider taking profits at that point." And then it had a sell that was back in February 21, which coincided, by the way, with the same thing we got on Bitcoin right around that time.
Yep.
Right. And so it was following Bitcoin. And then he got this message in April when Richard called the top on Bitcoin saying, hey, you know what? It might be a time to take profits. This is kind of basically what this means. So, and then we had another one all the way in August that came up with their stock. But from the high down to the low, it did drop 85% down here.
Yep.
And you can see that using kind of like these are the type indicators I use to kind of tell bottoms and tops and whatnot. But in any case, it's based on golden ratio multiplier. But you can see how it bottomed out. Now you go all the way forward, all the way up till today, right? Well, he did get a signal in March of 24 saying, "Hey, don't know what's going on here." Kind of like a warning flag. Don't exactly sell, but look, it went kind of sideways, and now it's going back up. And so what I would expect is it probably to follow a cycle, just like you just said with Bitcoin. Now, I happen to think unless things happen outside, which it could, right, outside of crypto, I would think if nothing major happens outside of crypto to MicroStrategy to change what they do and how people view them, it will probably top around the same time Bitcoin tops. And then it'll do another 80% drop, that type of thing.
Exactly. And for MicroStrategy, it's going to be even worse. And I love this indicator because MicroStrategy, just like Bitcoin, just like kind of gold, is following the same pattern, right? Where Crispy had those GR2 points. Imagine a massive cup and handle. It's literally doing the same thing like Bitcoin from the previous top back in 21 and then the little top in 2024. That's kind of like your rounded big cup. Then the handle, and then now it's going to take off, which is literally looking like what Bitcoin has done. But the warning here that I'm issuing literally ahead of time, almost, I would say, if we'll assume that the next cycle top is somewhere in 2025, the warning is when Bitcoin top, and if you got MicroStrategy, you better get the fuck out of there as fast as you can. Because when Bitcoin start retracing 50%, this thing is it's gonna be on steroid. Look at MicroStrategy, literally like what it is. It is a leveraged shitcoin. The same way we know, let's say when Ethereum, runs and then the leverage position runs even faster because they benefit from that. It's the same thing that you're going to be seeing there. So I want to warn people that if some of them are touching this thing, if they don't, then you're already good riddance. Just stay away because it's already at current price. It's already doubled the Bitcoin back because their business as a company, the profit's not really there. I mean, they're not losing money, but it's literally inexistent. The same way I've been telling you guys for years, 60-ish to 65% of the stock market are literally zombie company. They're not making no return. They're making no profit. All they do is like they beg for more money And then when we're fed lower rates, they just borrow money. They pretend to, oh, we're going to do research development. No, they just buy back their own stock. And then every time they have a lot of employee, they cry to the government like, we can't go out of business because what about our employee? We need to bail out, we need to bail out, we need to bail out, we need to bail out. You see now even in the auto industry where they've been reporting loss after loss after loss. This week is a little bit crazy because it's earning week. Some companies are going to do well. If the Magnificent Seven do well, it's going to carry most of the index. But there's a lot of stocks individually are doing very, very bad. Like the bear market for those stocks hasn't even ended yet. So it's like, this is where the warning comes in. And MicroStrategy, aka Michael Saylor, is really fucking aware of that. Make no mistake about it. Because he remembered the dot-com bubble. He wants to run it again. That's why he's speaking the way he's speaking, because he wants to add more leverage, because he realized that we're getting close to the top. He needs one more pump. Just like we know in crypto, right? There's the bull market, then it pumps, then the all-time high, and everybody knows there's that one final pump, the crazy one, right? When it goes parabolic. And anybody that's OG enough for crypto or seeing chart to understand that when it starts going too parabolic, too fast, everybody knows that's the beginning of the end. You don't need to be a sidekick for that. Which is why we like the diagonal up and to the right, diagonal, healthy, steady. That's what we like. The moment it starts going too parabolic, just be careful. Know that it's the beginning of the end. In 1999 to 2000, you see that rise. Everybody knew it's the beginning of the end. And right now, in 2023, it's looking obviously similar. Now, if the leverage gets approved, more money kicking in. There's less stock outstanding because the big buyers are holding the stock anyway. But the moment they realize, like, all right, guys, this might be it. There's no more new buyer. Like Richard said it best, when everybody already bought, right? There's no new person to buy. So what is the next best thing? You're trying to do leverage to create synthetic buyers. There's no buyer. It's literally you pushing the price higher. But he do that with the company because he don't care. Because his shareholder, at the end of the day, he can use shareholders, apply the leverage, pump the stock, and then he unload in his bag on people's head. And by the time they realize, it's already too late. So again, if anybody's touching that, be very, very careful. Now, that being said, if you cut the wave as Bitcoin is rising, yeah, of course, some people are going to be happy. If Bitcoin is up 80% or 50%, and then you're up 150%, thanks to the leverage, you're going to be happy. But as long as you're aware of what game you're playing, because this shit is Bitcoin on steroid. So if you feel like Bitcoin is getting close to a top, and again, I'm only speaking for those who own this thing, MicroStrategy, be self-aware that this is the first thing you should start cashing out if you feel like Bitcoin is about to top. Because if not, by the time you realize that, Saylor and the boys will unload on your head, and then you're going to be left holding the bag, especially if you're coming after, this level. For those who bought it like, sub $50, $20, you're good. You're just here for the show. You just enjoy the ride. But if you see 350 or the previous top, Crispy, can you tell us what was that top? Was it 330? What was it? The top of 2001? Expect some selling pressure right around that. Make no mistake about it. People are going to come out of the woodwork. What he makes new all-time high.
What if BlackRock tries to do the same thing?
Oh, they're already doing it. But
where they're trying to earn yield and all that. Like
BlackRock BlackRock is doing it for different reason, Manny. Because BlackRock is playing I'm gonna say in the crypto term, BlackRock is playing the liquidity provider game. Their number one value is volume. The more volume, the more money they make because they're charging you a fee. They don't really care about being your custodian, so to speak, because again, they're using Coinbase as a custodial. They just know that the more asset under management they have, the more volatility will come in, the more volume, the more fees they're going to be making hand over fist. They're making the fee of just overall AUM, asset under management. They get that fee. And the biggest fee that they get is the volume, people going in and out, in and out, in and out. They don't really care about, I hate to say it to people who are hardcore Bitcoiners, but it's just the truth, guys. I'm sorry. BlackRock don't really care about the Bitcoin price. They don't. They're not a buy and a hold people. They're only just saying that because they understand what's going to happen. If they become a buy and hold, they're going to have a higher AUM so they can charge fees. And they know that eventually people are going to trade in and out and they're going to charge fees based on the volume. So they're like a liquidity provider.
Yeah, that's a good thing to point out.
Yeah.
Another thing that I know is in terms of the yield game, stablecoins did more volume than Visa in the past year. And, you know, there's a lot of money to be made. I saw today that Stripe acquired a stablecoin partner provider company for over $1 billion. And this is part of the play that I think a lot of payment rails, they're going to try to make the play to not be the dumb pipes. They want to be the provider, you know, they want to get a piece of the action, even if the yield from the treasury, from the Fed is only 3% or 2%. They still want a piece of that because right now they're paying negative, you know, 1 to 2% to Visa and MasterCard to be the dumb pipes. And so this idea that they could flip that equation and become profitable with all this, I think we're going to see a fight for people who already have customers and users of payment processors. They're going to be, you know, trying to capture basically the Fed Treasury yield that is generated by stablecoins.
The Fed itself can get in on that if they partake in CBDCs, right? So,
right.
I think that's the future we'll see is that they'll want a piece of the action. They'll be pairing their stablecoin against USDC and DAI and PDAI and all the other fantastic tokens.
This is actually the reason why I haven't built Tether yet.
Make no mistake. We are starving for liquidity, starving for it on Pulse Chain as well as these other chains. As much as as much money is there or value is there, it's starving for it. And so there is liquidity. There is a huge opportunity.
Yeah, it will come in
liquidity.
What he's saying is like new liquidity as far as like new money coming in. And the way liquidity works on those cases, it's like it trickles down, and then it comes in massive surge. And this is the reason why I tell people, like, it's kind of like the building that will come, right? It's like, oh, you build a highway, you're playing for the future, you got 5 lanes, and like, oh yeah, nobody's really here. And then all of a sudden, one major event, right? Hey, this big city is getting the Super Bowl, or this new company is moving here, the headquarters here. All of a sudden, that one event just triggers massive volume. All of a sudden, this thing that was building, people thought, oh, nobody's going to use it. And all of a sudden, boom, flooded. And then you're glad you had it built. So it's like,
I think over time, we need more liquidity for sure. You know, just like as a general statement, you want to see it grow. But more specifically, I think you're getting at, Maddie, is this: for certain tokenomics, it's really good to have limited liquidity for the token itself. But we were talking about this whole stable topic, and the fact that you're on Pulse Chain and you lose 1% of your value just going from USDC to USDT or vice versa, that is no good, no bueno, right? That level of liquidity where we have that ability to move in and out of things that we would like to move in and out, it needs to be there, and it's not all there yet. I mean,
the stable swap, you mean?
A stable swap is a huge part of that. I mean, and by the way, advertisement 9.72%. Just for holding stables in the stable swap.
That's nuts.
That's nice.
That's
again,
on PulseX?
Competitive because most other places give you 5%. Yeah, so you have to be higher than what most other places give.
Yeah, and I know this because I'm telling you, I have pairs that I put up that I earn some days, 50%, 100% rate of APR on Pulse Chain because the liquidity is there. It's just not there. I mean, it's starving.
Yeah. I mean, you have to put the yield high because people are going to be like, why am I putting my stuff here to get the yield when I can just buy the coin? And when the coin pumps 20, 30%, I'm making way more money. Again, it's a study of incentives all the time. Now, I will say this about the whole swap 1%. Some of it, be careful. Some of it is not just liquidity. Some of it is just design, but it's done by design. In other words, the people that create those pairs, they want you to be in the 1% pool. Because they're trying to get the, you know what I mean? Because the yield, right? The money comes from somewhere, right? You talk about 9%.
But if I'm using an aggregator or even if I'm on one of the dexes, the reason they're sending me to the 1% pair is because there's not enough liquidity in the 0.005.
That or all the pair connected to the aggregator are all 1% pool. Because at the end of the day, if that's all there is.
That aspect. Thank you for saying that. I think that's an important topic that we often gloss over. Fast represent. He can speak this a little bit better, but he represents one of these potential dexes or products that's out there. It very much depends on how they designed it And what we're talking about is not contract design necessarily. We're talking about front end design, which can be programmed to do things different ways. And
break
so
it down.
I think with the yield aggregators, like when you use Pitius or Omnis, which are the two main ones on the Pulse chain, right? Like if you're spending $1,000 in USDC and you want to buy Hex, let's say, what it's doing is it's going to get you the most Hex it can for that much USDC. And in order to do that, it will make as many swaps as required. So you might see your USDC swap into Pulse, and then from Pulse to Hex, or even further from Pulse to Pulse Hex, and then from Pulse Hex to Hex. And that might only be 30% of the deal. Another 30% might be swapping between 3 different coins before it gets to Hex. It might be on several different dexes. So in one transaction where you're spending 1,000 USDC, you could be dealing with 3 or 4 different dexes and swap between easily 5 or 6 tokens to get the Hex that you want. And because the fees on Pulse Chain are so cheap, it enables those aggregators to work really, really well. Like on Ethereum, it wouldn't be making nearly so many swaps for you because it would calculate the gas price into the equation and it doesn't want to spend $400 in gas to get you the most Hex tokens, right? Whereas on Pulse Chain, it can spend 4,000 Pulse in Hex, in gas rather, to get you the most Hex if you're spending 1,000 USDC, because that's a tiny portion of the whole transaction. So we're really fortunate on Pulse Chain that that's how it works. But with those pools that are 1% or more sometimes, if they're getting hit, it's because, like Crispy said, there's not enough liquidity to skip those pools, because even with paying the 1% fee, it's still the best deal to get the token that you want, right? So that's sort of a symptom of not adequate liquidity to support the size of buy that you want, that it happens to be touching one of those 1% pools, if that's regular. If it's just occasional, it's just because that pool is at a very low price because it's 1%, so it's been skipped so many times. But what we're finding is on a lot of tokens, then it just will go through that pool a lot of the time if you're spending more than $50 because it has to. That is where the best deal is, even though somebody's taken 1% of your trade. So, but when we look at liquidity on the Pulse chain, there's 2 components, and one is the total value locked. And in my opinion, the total value locked on the Pulse chain isn't too bad. Like out of all chains, we're number 13 right now, which is like not bad. But how much of that is liquid for the coin that you want to trade is in liquidity pools? That's a different story. And that's where, like Crispy said, when we're talking about getting stables on and off the chain, right? You're paying, like we have a bridge option and so on and so forth, but we need those stables to be flowing around. We need big pools against certain tokens. Like now, some things we don't necessarily want big pools with because we want the price bill to go up faster in a bull market, and that's fine. But some things like Pulse and like with stablecoins, we want those big pools so whales can come in, right? So, the more we can do to encourage new stable coins on the chain that are native to the chain, or I think the ultimate in some cases, and now this reeks of centralization, but I do believe it would be bullish, would be to get native adoption by one of the big stable coins, USDC or DAI, for example, to have them native on the Pulse chain, so there wasn't bridge risk to touching USDC on Pulse chain. And I think something like that is, if you see that news, that's when the real whales, like the $1 billion whales, can afford to come into Pulse chain. Because those are the guys who are worried about, I'm not going to move $1 billion if there's bridge risk. Yeah, however minimal risk that is, and I believe it's very minimal. But like if you had native USDC or DAI on Pulse chain or USDT, something like that, like man, guys would move big bucks in. But until then, I think the more native stablecoins is better because you're not suffering that bridge risk. And to have just more stablecoin liquidity in general is better, as well as better total TVL. I'd like to see that number 13 be, number 2. I don't see why it could be right behind Ethereum. I don't think it's that crazy. And when you look at the chart, like to move up from where we are right now, from number 13 to the next to number 12, which is the ton chain, right? Well, there's just like they're just barely ahead of us. Like we're 300 million, they're 320 million. If you added another 100 million, we'd be in position number 9, right? Currently held by Blast Chain, whatever that is. And so some of these chains, I don't think they're going to hold up. Certainly not in the bear market. But even as Richard comes back online and we start getting the innovations we need in the Pulse chain, I think we're going to see that position jump at least 5 places. We're going to be top 10 minimum, but it could be top 5 before this cycle is out. Could even be number 2. I don't think it's impossible.
I'm legally required to tell you we have 420 people watching right now.
That's awesome.
In that case,
shout out to everybody here in the chat too. And another thing too, in the meantime, especially for people watching, is like you also got to be like attentive to your swap, right? I tell people like do the best of what you have now. Do smart swaps. There's a reason why when Richard and team made that update to PulseX. It was like 2 months ago or 3 months ago when they updated all the routes. They added more liquidity, especially for the stable coins. So for big money, they can spread out their purchase. Right, all those things matter. There's little tricks you can do to just better your swaps in your situation. Right, don't just click swap. Look at where is the route.
I have a good story about this.
Look at the slippage. Make sure it goes where it's supposed to go. Like I give you an easy trick. Like if you're coming from Ethereum, for example, and you want to do stable coin, well, you can swap this for the stable coins already on Ethereum. By the time you bridge, you're already bridging the stable coin. So you don't have to worry about doing a double swap. It's like you got to be smart with certain little tricks like that. Like already get the DAI that you already need, because you can literally buy the DAI even from the exchange, ready to go, or the USDC. So by the time it gets to your wallet and then you do the bridging, it arrives on Pulse Chain already as DAI, already as USDC. So you don't have to do another swap and then lose another percentage. Same way around. Let's say the bigger liquidity pool, bigger than the stable coin is the with Ethereum. I'm just giving an example. It's not, because DAI is obviously the biggest. But let's just say for where you're trying to go and you needed also money for gas fee on Ethereum side, you're on Pulse Chain, cheap fee. Boom, swap it to ETH. So by the time you bridge it and it gets there, when you get it on the other side, you'll get the money in ETH, so you have enough money for gas. So it's like little tricks like that. Understand which one has bigger liquidity. The more, or for example, if you're minting your Hedron, another example, and then you're like, oh, you want to go to Pulse Chain or you want to go to Ethereum, whatever. Well, Hedron has a bigger pool with Hex. So instead of going directly to that other coin that has a smaller liquidity and bigger slippage, you will swap the Hedron for Hex first, because the liquidity is thicker, the slippage is slower. And then that Hex itself now has a bigger pool with PulseX, or even Ethereum itself. So little tricks like that. Don't just go and click swap. Look at the slippage. Look, okay, this coin, what is the biggest pool this coin has? And then I can go there, boom, minimize my slippage. And then now I'm on the next coin. All right, this coin, which is the bigger pool that he has? Little tricks like that. It takes you.
A writer to that for stablecoins is the amount of coins you're receiving. Like with stables, like if you're trading into USDC or to DAI or to USDT, like look at the total token count, not just necessarily the slippage or what you're getting the best deal on. Because typically with the stable coins that are actually stable, if you can get more tokens, right, more USDC, more USDT, then you win regardless of the slippage, as long as you know what to do with that. Like just for example, right now on the Pulse chain, I could trade, 10 million Pulse for 469 USDT, whereas 10 million Pulse is only worth $463 right now. But if I went to USDC, it would be 467. If I go to DAI, it's 468. So my best deal is USDT. And people actually make a lot of money on Pulse chain bridging on and off of Ethereum arbitrage these stablecoins.
Slippage could be positive too. That's what Abdul is saying. Slippage doesn't always be negative. That's what when you look at it, sometimes the slippage is green, saying you're getting more, because it's like you're buying the dip, because somebody did actually a bad trade, lost a lot, messed up the pair, and now you actually come in and buy the dip and then fixing it.
Yep. And even with they're in a bubble, like they're not touching other chains if they're on the Pulse chain. So you could see USDT spike to $1.10 on Pulse chain only, or drop to 97 cents. All right. So if you see those, it's not a bad time to act necessarily.
So I was doing just what you guys are saying, and I was comparing across different chains, and I discovered in trying to buy $3,000 worth of eDeci, also known as Deci from Ethereum, there's a large liquidity pool on Pulse Chain, but there's also like relatively an equal size pool on Ethereum. And I mean, they're both relatively small compared to buying Hex or something. What I had found is that splitting the order between the two chains resulted in way more Deci being gotten. It was something like, 5% more or something.
Nice.
And that's that's a big deal when you're dealing with discounted T-shares. You can't beat a 50% 50% off on T-shares, in my opinion.
Exactly. So yeah, guys, the moral of the story is like, take your time, learn those things, learn the routes, learn about slippage. Again, some of it is negative, some of it is positive, but you can start playing around, and the next thing you know, something like, oh my God, even the fact that we say, yeah, liquidity could be better, but then I could also argue that it's because the liquidity is the way it is that you have options like Fast Abdul been saying, where you have crazy opportunity that can just present themselves. And we're talking about a risk-free trade, meaning you just hit the swap, boom, you made 10% on your money, just like that. And you didn't have to counter trade somebody. You didn't have to look at a chart, but like, oh, what's going to happen here? Make up some shit. No, it was just like, oh, wow, look at that better deal. This is literally what market makers and some people have value create. That's what they do. They're looking at the imbalance in between. Like, or if you ever been in an energy business, like I said, I used to do solar, like energy business, whatever, even some of the Bitcoin miner, like you look for those inefficiencies. Oh, you can get 8 cents a kilowatt over here. Boom. Oh, over there is 12 cents a kilowatt. And literally you just buy, sell, you trade those little swaps. And the next thing you know, you're making money on the spread. It's literally just arbitrage plays. Yep. And you never look at charts. You just like arbitrage.
Most people don't understand arbitrage. Like arbitrage is like quick fingers, right? Like you're buying now and you're selling seconds later, minutes later on the outside. It's not trading like, oh, the price is low, so I bought it and I sold it later. Arbitrage, no, that's trading. If you wait for the price to go up, arbitrage is like the price is $1 here, and over here it's $1.10. So I'm going to buy it here and sell it.
Exactly, you're buying and selling it at the same time. Yep, you sell.
Hey, expertise. Speaking of which, do you guys remember when the sacrifice address backstopped all of crypto? What was that, March 2023? Whenever the peg of USDC failed over the weekend and the crypto markets were, falling in disarray. And sure enough, it was the origin address, as we call it, that came in and I believe saved all of crypto. Because it stopped the peg from failing between all the different stable coins.
Yeah, he had so many dies, so he just came in and like, all right, guys, chill out. And the funniest thing, I remember even the USDT depeg, like people just don't understand arbitrage or value. They just panic for no reason. And people were buying those USDT literally pennies on the dollar, like 92 cents, like literally a legit 8-10%. Obviously, OA did a great move on that, 16 million overnight, doing just one swap. It was awesome. But it's like, once you understand those things, and it's not so complicated, it's just like you just pay attention, you watch what the screen is showing you and understand the math behind it, and you understand that it's long-term, then you can just make your swap. It's literally almost like risk-free.
There was new information that came out from Nick Carter in the past 2 or 3 weeks about Signature and, Silicon Valley Bank failing, being intentional. They were not delinquent, but the local Federal Reserve Board had basically just like, treated them like Operation Choke Point 2.0. And so there's brand new information that has come out recently that actually proved that that was the case, that they were trying to make crypto fail. And, years from now, when the dust settles, I believe that the Pulse Chain sacrifice address and the Hex OA, if history is told correctly, will be credited with stopping the failure of crypto at that point, because It was looking pretty bad when
All
the stable coins were failing. That doesn't work out well usually.
There was another DeFi lesson from that weekend. I think it was a weekend. Because people were running from these stable coins and they didn't know what to do. But the one stable coin that did extremely well was LUSD. I remember moving some stables into LUSD at 97 cents or something like that, and then LUSD went up to like $1.25. It spiked because so many people were moving into it, and it didn't have as much liquidity as the other stablecoins. So then I arbitraged my LUSD back into USDC at like $1.22, and I was very, very pleased. But LUSD, that's the stablecoin for Liquidity, right? Which is what liquid loans, the Earn protocol, and the Flex protocol are forks of, and it's over-collateralized on chain. Right. Whereas a lot of these other stable coins will have a peg mechanism where you can redeem it for $1, but it's off chain. So it's to have it on chain, be like with a Liquidity fork or Liquidity in particular, you can always trade one LUSD for $1 in Ethereum on Pulse chain with the Earn protocol, the Flex protocol, or liquid loans. You can always trade $1 for either $1 Hex, Pulse X, or Pulse, depending on which of those three protocols. So over-collateralized on-chain collateral is the safest way to go.
And I guess part of that price move was probably due to the fact that it was collateralized by Ethereum, which was pumping because people were freaking out and dumping their stables for 90 cents and going into Ethereum.
Yeah, they were not doing the math.
I was doing
once again, panicking for no reason, not understanding that the collateral was there, protecting.
Yeah, that was an interesting weekend to be sure. But I think the Pulse-skins and Hexkins, and I think we were just Hexkins at that time. Did we have Pulse yet? I don't think we did.
No,
not yet.
I think we were a lot more. I think there was a lot more players in the general crowd there than there were other places where people are rushing about with their hands in the air.
I think that's when we pumped to 10 cents pre-Pulse chain.
Could be.
When Hex was
people were running out of stables.
Maybe we need choke point 3.0 to get a Hex to new all-time highs. Just kidding.
I think that's something to remember though, is like if that ever happens again, over-collateralized on-chain immutable stable coins like Liquidity forks, like that's your safe place. And like stable coins where like it's held by a central bank where it's collateralized off chain in any way and you can't look at it. Like I think it was literally one of those things like they were closed for the weekend and everybody flipped out. Right.
Yes.
Like it was days. It was literally like 2-3 days, and then they turned the faucet back on, and everything was fine. But that can't happen.
It was a coordinated attack. Those people at powers that be was doing this on purpose. It was Operation Choke Point. They were running the FUD like crazy. And I hate to say it, but for our international viewers, they would understand that. Imagine you're not, quote unquote, in America or English is your second language, and you hear all this FUD, you're not even there. You're like, oh my God, I'm holding all those dollars. I don't know what's going to happen. You're in fear, you're in panic. You can't even think rationally. So your first thing is like, oh, let me get rid of this thing. Not understanding that, no, you still have entitled disease. Nothing's going to happen. But during that short period of time, 1-2 days, it feels like an eternity. And then the person just kind of fumbles the bag, not understanding like, hey, we've seen this before, and some of them were first time in crypto too. So all they see is they look at their bag, like, I have this much money, but now it says that I have this minus 10%. Imagine having a big bag, you know what I mean? Or whatever, hundreds of thousands of millions. So you're thinking, okay, you can go back to peg, or you're thinking, what if it goes to zero? Even though it's not really a logical thought because you're in the paranoia mode, but you can't get that thought off your head because you probably been watching it like a hawk, 99%, 98, 97, 96, and it depegs and it keeps going the other way. It's that slow bleed that's hurting you. If it was like 90% and then, all right, guys, it's going to go back up. But it's the fact that it just keeps going down slowly. So,
Yeah.
So you're like, oh shit, what if it's 88% tomorrow? What if it, and then the trader mentality kicks in. You're like, oh, let me just do a quick sell. It's at 90. So what if it goes to 85? I'm going to buy back lower, right? And then he doesn't. And then you just lost 15%. Like, thank you very much. Those guys recapitalized their money literally by finessing everybody else, creating the panic. Everybody sold their coins, pennies on the dollars, 10% off. And that's, I believe that's how they fixed the hole, because they were literally in the hole. The amount of money that bank owed versus the coin that they were backing was not right. So that's what the depeg started to begin with. And then because people were just getting rid of their coin, pennies on the dollars, they just refixed it like that and then just stole everybody's money. Sad.
Yeah, I mean, the government went in and said, you can't redeem anymore. And that was what Coinbase was using. And so I don't know that it was so irrational to be selling, at 95 cents or 90 cents when you didn't know that at the end of the weekend they were going to turn everything back on. And you saw Ethereum pumping and you saw stables going down. So it's like, luckily the move was good if you swapped into Ethereum. The move was good if you held the stables. But I mean, there were other moves that were not good.
Yeah, because Ethereum did like what? Double-digit pump, right? Ethereum did like almost double-digit pump. So it's like if you lost 5% and then you recuperated, that's cool. But there's also the people who came after the pump. So they lost their 5-8%. And then the pump, when the pump already is up 8-10%. And then when the pump correct back down because they fix it 2 days later, you lost even more money. And then there's those
people who bought my $1.20 LUSD off me. Whoever they were, thank you for your
had the wisdom to just do nothing, chill, wait, and then the market just fixed itself and they lost zero money. They see go to 90% and he went back up to peg.
Yeah.
So yeah,
good
and
times.
then goes like the OA who made genius move, moving stables around and making money. It's just like, oh yeah, there you go. It's like, bro, and now they can't touch Tether anyway because Tether is now one of the biggest holder of treasury bonds. So it's like, and by the way, yield's going up right now, which is funny. So it's like back to the 4%. So we have to wait post election until we go back to the 3s and the 4 because apparently market is doing well. So now, because the yield is uninverted itself, good news is good news and bad news is bad news. So now we're getting good news. So now rates staying high, which helps the stock market, slows down crypto a little bit, but it will come. It will come, especially, hopefully once Trump gets in. Then from there, floodgates. Less than 2 weeks, fellas.
It's looking good.
It's looking good. Elon's out there doing God's work too, man. $1 million a day, man. That's fucking awesome. It's crazy. Lucky winners. That petition. That is a ballsy move.
I've been watching his streams. Yeah.
And he's just making sense, bro. It's like I watched this clip that go viral. It's so funny. He's talking about Doge, Department of Government Efficiency and stuff. And then it's like literally saying things that's just common sense, and it's going viral. It's like, bro. What if we hold those people accountable? They're out there spending your money, literally taxpayer money. You remind me, like, bro, they work for us. This is how it's supposed to be. How are we authorizing spending that don't benefit the American people? That makes no sense. Yeah. Then they're acting in their high horse like there's some special people where it's like, no, that's your money. It's our money. It's our tax dollars that they're fucking with. Like, it just doesn't make no sense. So it's like, he's not going there trying to be like, oh my God, we're going to do something magical. No, we're just basically asking this simple premise. Every time we're asking to spend money, ask yourself this question, very simple. Does that benefit the American people? Simple. You do that, boom. It's kind of like, back in the day when everybody might come to us like, oh, I have this new idea for a coin and everybody get a coin. Like, no, why do you actually need a fucking coin? Oh yeah, but we need to do it. No, this thing don't need a coin. Okay, good idea. Just go do it. You can just do that with stablecoins or coin that already exists. You don't need a new coin.
Hey, if you want to hold ETH, just hold it.
Exactly.
You don't need to put it into some Titan X spinoff. Shots fired.
Is it too soon? Lol. Oh my goodness. But yeah, it's like that's why we watch Lady. That's like fun. But yeah, but talking macro a little bit, like I was saying, the cool things to watch right now is primarily just the election, because everything else is pretty much like blue sky. You know what I mean? The economy is doing well based on the data that they give us, right? You know what I mean? Manufacturing index is doing okay. So this is why yields are rising, because they're like, oh, well, we might not need to lower rates anymore because the economy is doing well. Because remember, the excuse was, oh, we're doing bad, that's why we need to lower rate. Well, if we're doing okay, then it's like we don't really need to lower rate. And because market is always forward looking, yes, we went back to about 4%. We're 4.2 on the 10-year and 4 something on the 2-year. But the thing is, we came from almost 5% and we came down very, very fast. So I think this is just one of those kind of like dead cat bounce. And then we're going to start trending down again. But I like it like that, slow and steady. You don't want that rate to plummet all at once, because then now we got to worry about the carry trade again. I mean, we got to worry about a lot of things. And then the dollar is devaluing too fast. That's not good. So even though markets have slowed down, dollar went up in purchasing power. Dollar DXY is at 104 right now, which is, whoa, that's a nice bounce from where he was. It was literally at 100. But then again, he came down from almost 120 back in the day. So it's like it's moving in the right direction. It's just slow and steady. A lot of capital is being accumulating right now, ready to be triggered. But I think they're just waiting for that final confirmation on the election. And then all of a sudden, it's going to be massive deployment. But again, fair warning to everybody on the sideline. You need to understand, once again, like I made the analogy about the superhighway, build and it will come. Don't be one of those person, but like, oh, I'm just going to wait. The wave happens so fast, you already missed the move. You need to be in the move before the move starts. So it's like, yes, are you taking a little bit more risk? True. But again, it's called risk reward adjusted for a reason. You know what I mean? If you wait for perfect safety, then you already miss half the move or 80% of the move. You'll catch the last 20%. Now, if that's what you want, that's fine. But being in position early is really, really what you want to be in and be really, really good. And then if we do a risk assessment, the only thing that can potentially wipe us out right now and make it like, oh my God, triple top, Bitcoin goes back down and all crypto just push down. It's if, I mean, I kid you not, it's if we got World War III, hopefully that doesn't happen. If Trump gets shot, hopefully that don't happen. Those are the only two things that I see. Even if technically, if he doesn't win, which will be a shock to me, technically crypto still benefit no matter what. Which administration. It's going to be good. Obviously, Trump just makes it even more cool because he's really pro deregulation and he created his own coin, so which is a DeFi coin. So it's like he's going to make sure whoever's at the SEC is not going to mess with that. And then if it becomes the blueprint, because that's what people want. They just want guidance. Like, what is the good blueprint that we know it passed all the tests? Once they get that, everybody's going to be just adjusting their stuff to make it.
Trump tells them even just Bitcoin is good, let alone crypto.
Exactly.
That the U.S. Treasury should hold Bitcoin and not just Bitcoin they seized from the Silk Road and hold it for generations. Like that will change the landscape for crypto. But with that, there will be negatives, right? Because as soon as the government gets involved, they're going to get involved. So like the days of no KYC may be limited on some things. It's going to get harder and harder to hold your own keys. I think that the people who are in it now, they're going to do very well. But the landscape may change going forward when all governments just accept crypto as currency. They're going to want to be able to control it. So we're seeing that in Europe, right? We're seeing that.
Yeah. Oh man, see that paper that came out? That FUD paper that they come out with bullshit. I mean, it's hilarious to me because they're admitting in plain sight that Bitcoin does and solve the problem that banks created. The same way for years, right? They were telling us like, oh, it's a lie, it's a dream, it's not true. Bitcoin is not even a threat. Crypto is not a threat. This, that. And now all of a sudden, right? This is the part where, and then you fight and then you win, right? So I think they don't realize it, but they're doing actually a good advertisement for crypto because they basically are admitting openly, saying, kind of like low what people should be paying attention to, that, wow, for the first time, people are in control, as it should have been.
Oh, so every time they mention crypto, we win. It's the same general rule of advertising. It's like they're big, we're small. If they talk about us, we win, right? whether they say it's good or not to some degree. More people will know what Bitcoin is if the current president or any future president mentions Bitcoin or Ethereum or crypto in general, whether they're in favor or not, because we're still so small that exposure will make it bigger than it is right now. Which is, like that's sort of the advice, and this is something to think about going forward, is like when there's a scam and it's a scam, you're not always doing a service to tell people about the scam by name, right? So, because it actually can bring more attention to it, depending on who you are. Now, if I was to do it, I'm sure it'd be fine. But like if Richard Hart knew something was a scam, he probably wouldn't talk about it directly because he has that kind of exposure where it could get more attention for it. But certainly with crypto, you can see the government kicking, but they're kicking until they'll join us, right?
Exactly. And
I think that time may be, at least a lot sooner than it was in the past. Like it could be this cycle where we see mass adoption.
And they're already planning on coming. It's already a done deal, especially after the ETF got placed. Now it's just a matter of they're coming no matter what. I already know. I have 100% certainty in my gut that they're coming. Now the question is, they're probably scratching their head is, how do we come in a sense and in a way that we make it look like we're winning, even though we're behind the 8 ball, so we don't make the people panic? Because if they come the wrong way, people are gonna be like, oh my God, those crypto people were right all along. And everybody will just literally exit liquidity. They'll be like, drop the dollar, we out of here. And
you guys are talking about the central bank had come out with a paper saying that there's inequality in the distribution of Bitcoin. And it's ironic because they're describing the Cantillon effect, which is that whoever's closest to the money printer gets all the new wealth or basically the economic spending power.
And it's ironic because they're basically
describing the same system that they already have.
Yeah,
exactly. They're just bitching about it because they're not the one in control this time. It's how funny, how hilarious. The projection is crazy, bro. It's like, what?
The government already has a solution for this, which is CBDCs, though, right? Like as soon as they can start printing CBDCs or minting CBDCs, then they can,
I like this comment,
right? And then they'll be minting them, they'll be pairing them against Bitcoin, pairing them against USDC. They'll be able to rug it if they want to. They'll be able to freeze it if they want to, which is a big one to watch out for. And they'll be able to control where money goes again. So I think that is their next obvious play, is to embrace CBDCs and pair them against as many things as they're interested in, so that they can control those assets. And when you have an infinite money printing button or money minting button in this case, you could pair a lot of your favorite CBDC against Bitcoin. And for the audience, that's central bank digital currencies. So you'd have what's the big bank in the U.S.?
Chase. I mean, there's a couple.
You'd have Chase digital dollar, quite likely. I imagine.
Oh, they already have that.
A Fed dollar, but I imagine it'd probably be.
It's called Fed now. It's active right now. Okay, it's what you do when you do wire transfer that comes same day, fast. When you cash out your crypto, and then from there you transfer. Same day wire transfer to your bank account, it comes via Fed now, literally on Kraken. It literally says it that's the network that they use.
So they're already touching it. But what stops them from minting $1 billion worth of their digital coin, just like they can print $1 billion worth of actual fiat currency? And once they do that, they can just pair it up with everything. They can make those liquidity dollars. Maybe the U.S. government will be doing some liquidity farming. I'd like to tell them about $2.
Right? Why not? Why not? So guys, those are basically the two things that I'm seeing. But assuming those things don't happen, fortunately, and then this election is behind us, get ready, floodgate, trillions coming in the markets. It's already here. It's already money being deposited. The secret is, I've been telling you guys for weeks, it really matters when the money is deployed. Not when it's all you see the printing, $1 billion just join. Yeah, okay, enter the ecosystem of crypto, but it hasn't been deployed yet. But it's there, it's ready to be deployed. And one of the easiest play that I see will be a nice catch-up trade that's why you see the chart of Bitcoin. Even MicroStrategy was kind of looking like that. That famous massive cup and handle. Bitcoin looks like that. gold has been looking like that. S&P has been looking like that. I say has been because they're already ahead. The thing already broke out. So what I see happening is, assuming everything goes according to plan, we'll pump, boom, we'll pass the election, then the money start being deployed. Now, all of a sudden, it's not so much that stock market is crashing or gold is crashing. What I see happening is that the moment Trump is in, the last people, big money that was worried about, okay, I want to deploy in crypto, but I'm not sure. Oh, now they got full green light because they know he's gonna get rid of Gensler, first order business, and he's gonna put somebody pro crypto. Now all of a sudden, I'm gonna see most likely rotation of money, which makes sense because gold's been pumping like crazy, multi-trillion. You literally just get a nice 8%, 10% red candle on gold. You take probably $500 billion out of that. You pump that into Bitcoin. Next thing you know, Bitcoin go to 6 figures. So we've seen that play before where you decorrelate for a while, gold goes as a leading indicator for a while, and then Bitcoin plays the catch-up trade because that's where that money is going to come from. Yep, I think that money is going to come from gold, and that money is going to come from S&P, and the index is going to be rotated out, and then it's going to go into those big ETF. And that's how Bitcoin played the catch-up trade because people who've been running their gold trade, they'll be making big money since the 2,300 level, all-time high after all-time high. Maybe gold gets a little greedy and go to 3K if China keeps printing money. But I think right around where it is now, it's just bonus. They're just getting ready to sell it. They're just waiting for Trump to be in because once he's in, they know for sure, oh, crypto's going on the run. And then you're like buying Bitcoin at this level. It's like buying gold at 2,100, 2,200. So they're just going to run the same play. It's kind of like how we do in crypto where Bitcoin runs. People take the profit from there and then they rotate to Ethereum, like back in the day or the Solanas of the world or whatever. And then rotate
Question for you, though.
You will see that too. Go ahead.
So, Kareem, play out the opposite scenario.
Opposite scenario.
Trump does not win.
Okay, yeah. Like I said, Trump does not win. Similar setup, but like slow-mo because it's gonna be a wait and see because the Biden-Harris administration is like they can say something, but then they can do something else, like in the big time. So it's like now because they can literally say, "Hey, we got your vote. We're good for 4 years. We don't need to help you. We already got the vote. There's nothing you can do. We're just gonna go do whatever." Or they're gonna say, "We're gonna do crypto," but like almost communism style, where it's like. It will be crypto, but then you have to, CBDC is going to be involved. You have to do our crypto the way we want you to do it. You know what I mean? And that might be a problem. And eventually we're still going to win because again, you can't stop an idea at a time has come, right? So it will just be a slower grind until the big money figure out what is actually the plan of action because you don't know what their plan of action is. Their plan is like, we hate Trump. It's like when we talk policies, like it's so sad that I can't even tell you for sure. Because there is no plan. It's like there's no policy. They just tell you they hate the opposite guy. So it's like, but they did mention, and it will be in their best favor, so to speak, to be to some degree pro crypto, because crypto has already shown since the last election that we're starting to make noise. We got money. We can lobby. We can play the game. Before we were like the little guy, black sheep of the family or the corner over there. We're not even an asset class. Nobody even care about us. Now it's different. Money is being raised. Big money is coming in. It's like those people I used to say, oh, these crypto people, where's the money? We don't see the money. Now we start popping shit up, cars, Lambo, whatever. They see the money now. They're like, oh, shit, that shit is real. So they seen it already. So now they have to be very, very careful not to alienate that base the same way they took the black vote for granted. And then now they're like, what the fuck are we going to do? So it's like, in the opposite case scenario, it's still going to be slight. I'll put it like in a chronological order of bad to worse, right? I'm sorry, from worse to okay. So the worst will be like World War III. That's not going to help nobody besides, defensive stocks and whatever. It's going to be just like shit show. We don't want that because nobody's going to care about what's going on in the market or crypto. They're going to be like, yo, we need food, shelter, bullets. That's it. World War III is worst case scenario. Second to worst will be Trump getting shot because that can create a little civil unrest in this country, not overseas, but but that civil unrest can let, America's enemies thinking confident that, oh, there's a shit show in their own house right now. Maybe it's time for us to attack. And maybe China decides to attack Taiwan. You don't know. So that's the second worst. Then it's like, Harris gets in. because it's like we don't even know what the plan is. We're just gonna be okay. At best, it's 4 years of the same thing, but we won't know. Market might not really move until December or January until we really figure out what is the actual game plan. And then you got Trump and crew, because we at least have a plan. We know what the deal is. We know he's pro crypto. He launched the coin. He sure is one of us. You know what I mean? He's making the thing happen. We know he's gonna have Elon in the administration. Elon is kind of pro crypto too, to some degree. I mean, he picked that name Doge for a fucking reason. We also know that JFK Jr. Is RFK, sorry, is good, because he said already he's a Bitcoiner. He owns Bitcoin. He's pro crypto. He wants to put Bitcoin on the balance sheet. So we know he's going to be part of the administration. You know, and also side note, he's going to help the health industry too, and food, so we can actually eat healthier. I like his new slogan, like, you know, make America healthy again. That's a pretty cool slogan. Hopefully that happens. But again, we have some degree of planning about what is it that we're doing. And the VP is also pro crypto, pro business, pro evolution. We want to keep the innovation here in the US as much as possible. So when big money sees that, they're like, all right, cool. There is actually a plan here. We can deploy capital. We can make investment. VC can do what they do. But nobody likes a no plan, because it's like, okay, I have the money. I'm the investor, but you're not giving me any plan. You think I'm just going to give you money? No, I'm not going to do that. Fuck that. I'm just going to be like, all right, I'm going to chill until I figure out what the hell's going on, and then I'm going to deploy money. So
I think it'd be a good time for crypto founders. Like, the economic climate of places to launch a cryptocurrency. Currently, the U.S. is a terrible place.
Exactly.
But
you have instability.
In the next gold rush, it'd be like opening the doors to business. Be like, oh, come launch your DeFi protocol in the U.S. Right?
Exactly.
Whereas right now, people are like actively leaving the U.S. to launch their DeFi protocols.
Yeah,
I'm glad I'm not in the U.S. for this purpose.
Because make no mistake about it, it will find a home. People think like, oh my God, it only has to be. No. Make no mistake. They will go to Dubai. They will go to Singapore. They will go even some places in South Africa. They will move, bro. They're not gonna have to. Same thing back in the day. People thought, oh, all you have to do is go to Europe and and then, you know, because my people I know from Africa, that's usually what their number one option, right? And then they realize, no, you can go somewhere else. You can go to Asia. You can go to America. You can go to South America.
Smaller, right? Like the number of people like you and me who have traveled a lot, like it wouldn't be a big stretch for me to go and live in Europe. Like I actually have an Irish passport. I can go anywhere in Europe, and I can just say I live here more. And
globalization did help free the individual to decide to, like, if the system is not doing you right, you can just pack up your bag and leave, and that's really, really cool. And it's something that's needed. And we're not asking for much. We're asking for things that are like common sense. Like for me, it's important because I remember back home being in Africa, where it's like in my country, one of the reasons why a lot of investors also wouldn't invest long term, it was exactly because of that. Because they're like, we have the money, we see the value, we see how this can turn into something good. But the problem is, the moment you want to do big project and big plan, anything more than 7 years, 5, 7, and up to 10,
yeah,
the risk is like to the fucking roof. You can make $1 billion, literally crazy, blue ocean, nobody's there. You'll come in, pioneer, pennies on the dollar, blah, blah, blah. But now you're always looking at 2-year, 3-year, maybe 4-year plan. Because the moment you start doing 7 years, 5, 7, and 10, the risks go to the fucking roof, because there could be a fucking coup during that time. There could be a change of regime. The president might do whatever or be overturned.
Nationalize.
So the unrest is so crazy that they're just like, we can't sign off on it. Even though the business makes sense, the people need it, the money is there, everything is there, infrastructure. You got the people ready to do the work. You got the labor, all that. But because big plans, perfect example, solar, big money, but that can feed big people for long term. But you got to deploy that capital. You got to build the solar farms. You got to do all those things. It takes a while. And then you got to worry that, okay, this is going to ROI 7 years, and then we start making money. Because at first, we're just recuperating the investment. But if we don't even know if there's going to be security or civil war or people come in and just destroy everything, the investor's going to be like, bro, you have the best sun in the world, but we're not going to put money.
Africa, though, but like the same thing applies in the U.S. or Canada. Like we're starting to be on 4-year cycles of like who's the next president. Because
exactly.
will they take my stuff if I like launch a crypto project in your country, right? So like when you're on a 4-year cycle of, can I launch this thing in the USA, or do I have to go to, do I have to go to the Cayman Islands to do it? Right. Like it's, that's a tough decision for, especially in a very nationalist country. Right. So we're starting to see that because people with money are able to travel. People are more worldly and, moving to different countries. Like there's a lot like places like Dubai. Well, like they're rolling out the red carpet and people are doing what's I call tax arbitrage.
They're smart over there. They're stealing all the customers.
Tracks. Why would I not do so? And I think our local governments, like Canada, US, like the big European countries, they have to start opening that door of like, okay, keep your money here because we know you can leave, right? And with the US, they try to follow you. They try to take some of your tax money forever unless you renounce your citizenship. And I could see Canada and other countries doing that too, but like they're still going to lose out, and people are starting to renounce their citizenships. It wouldn't be the first time that that's ever happened,
Absolutely.
So
because they have this fundamental business flaw that they don't understand. This is actually one of the reasons why I love Grant Cardone so much, and the 10x rule, and the 10x rule explains in the book where one of the chapter where when your enemy, quote unquote, in business, right? When your enemy contract, when there's a major contraction, right? Or your enemy or even market, bear market, depression, whatever, this is actually when you want to expand. It's the best time. Yes, it's very hard, but this is when you want to expand because that's when you can easily gather new market share, new customers, take everything from your competition. And now if you extrapolate that at a country level, when there's, worldwide potential unrest, uncertainty, again, we talk about potential World War III, I mean, tongue in cheek, but it's serious. Like 5-10 years ago, you would say, oh, potential World War III. People would laugh at you, be like, man, what you talking about, World War III? Now it's like, oh, the probability is increasing. So it's like there's global unrest, there's places that you thought were like the safest, don't have to worry about. Now you're questioning yourself. And other places that people, keyword, people used to tell you, oh, this is sucks, third world country, da-da-da. But then those of us who actually went and saw like, shit, this place is lit. It's nice. It's safe. They're like a shadow themselves compared to what they used to be 10, 20 years ago. It's like, whoa, to some degree, you even feel like, damn, this is a little bit better than where I came from. What the hell just happened? So now it changes everything. And now you have flexibility because those older places and older business, they start making the big mistake in business. You start taking your customer for granted, right? Yeah. Those recurring customers that always loved you, that always were there. But then you're not innovating nothing. You're just giving them the same old, right? Same device, same everything. Now you're charging them more money. They're going to be like, at some point, they're going to scratch their head and be like, bro, I love you. But you're not reciprocating the love. Because now you start to be disrespectful. Now you start taking me for granted. Now you think I'm stupid. You think like I don't have another choice. Now you think I'm desperate, like I'm needy. No, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna pack my shit up. I got a threshold.
Nice now. Like Southern Asia is nice now. Like there's like you can move to Thailand and live for a third of the cost if you're in the US, like easily. And and a lot of people watching this show could do that if they wanted to. And like, places like Poland, the Czech Republic, like it's half price Europe. You could be in Germany and move to those countries. If they treat you better, why not go where you're treated best? So that's
Spain, Portugal, all those places are pro crypto, no nonsense. Like, bro, you can just go. Morocco is a vibe too. South Africa. I mean, there's many places. And then the thing is like, thanks to globalization and traveling, we're not even saying like, oh, you have to go there and be there forever. Like, no, you can just kind of relocate home base, have your business set up, do all sort of stuff, get even the paperwork, the citizenship, the whatever. When my friend went to the No More Capitalist conference, which is awesome, learning about what does it cost to relocate? What does it cost to like get another passport legally? All this other stuff. What kind of level of investment you got to do? Now you're moving different. Now you can literally come to America like on vacation type things where it's like you here, do whatever you need to do, but you don't have to obey to the garbage rule or be oppressed. Kind of like how to a lower level where Elon was like, all right, California oppressed some bullshit. They think they owe us here, because of the weather and our family. No, I'm going to move to Texas, right? Because technically speaking, America is so big. It's technically, think of it like it's like Europe. It's like you were in, you were in France, and this is geographically France or the UK, and then you decide to move to Spain or Portugal. It's the same thing. He was in California. Hey, all right, cool. I'm going to move to Texas. You know what I mean? And this is why this election is so important because we still have that flexibility, freedom, where it's like some part of the country is like, not that good. And you can go down south, you can go, Florida, Texas, things like that. But if we're not careful and the whole country gets polluted, there's nowhere you can run. You're going to have to actually consider leaving the fucking country.
Yeah. I'm going to change America so I don't have to move. But like moving is cool too.
There you go. See, Matty always got the cool hat. See, he's already in Texas.
Texas state of mind. That's right.
But in all seriousness, yeah. Hopefully we'll get this sorted out, fixed, and then common sense will prevail. And then we'll just stop the bleeding and the nonsense and taking people for granted. So because again, the powers that be, deep state, whatever you want to call it, like because those people, they never really cared about us, like I've been saying for many, many years. And this is the reason why I love, fundamentally, beyond the money part, why I love blockchain so much, period. And crypto, it's like for the first time we can take back the power in our own hands and then make our own decisions and then live by that. And if the rest of the world is like, oh, I don't know where I can put my economic energy, or because I don't know if that state is going to change or if the law is going to change against me. And, you remember those places where like, oh, no taxes on that. And then boom, they flip the switch on you. And all of a sudden you're like, fuck, I thought there was no property tax here. I thought there was this and there was that. Now with crypto, it's virtual. It's like wherever you are, you can be in a place. They start acting crazy. They start taking you for granted. Pack up your bag, move. You know what I mean? You can still access your wallet from anywhere around the world, just need internet connection. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or better yet, if you got big enough money like some of them billionaires, bro, you got your yacht or whatever, and then you international sea. Your house is moving. Yeah, and that's it. You get your mail, they'll deliver electronically or via drones. I don't know, but it's just
all Amazon packages by drones to my yacht in international waters.
And this is how we got rid of Rackham, is we treated him so poorly and he sold the bottom and left.
Good riddance. We're good.
Peace.
Peace.
Now we can go up again.
Yeah.
Now
less than 2 weeks. Also next week, looking forward to see whoever is going to be in New York. That's going to be awesome for the event.
Dang, that's next week, isn't it?
We're going to court, but every time I'm about to hang out with Hexikid, I call it like an event. It's like it's a hangout. It's gonna be fun. Get to see some people, and then I'm gonna try to be, if I get my ticket on time,
on Thursday.
Patrick David do a big event in Fort Lauderdale. I don't know if you heard about this, but the Valuetainment, because they're gonna be doing the night of the election, kind of like election night, and I think it's a great opportunity for networking and people like that. So if
Funding Jim,
he's gonna be there. Yeah, but I know a lot of people are gonna be there. It's a really great time to go and network. Like I said, I've been a Valuetainment subscriber since it was below 10,000. It's like, whoa, we go such a long way, because literally it started like that, the channel for entrepreneur, learning about business, learning about sales. So many.
How high are they now?
Yeah, now it's like 3 or 4 million on one part, and it's so very good. And it only about what I would say a year and a half ago ish. That's when he started talking a little bit about politics, but it's just valuable content. Like the name is perfect. It's base. It's both sides. Sometimes there's topics you don't know. You can just go there and just watch and be educated and hear both sides. Really cool. And then, dude, he just interviewed Trump recently. That's crazy. And he's just doing the politic part of the channel just recently, but it just shows how good the content is. And then he likes to ask good, challenging questions. I like the way he interviews. I like the way sometimes he's like moderated, how people come on the channel. So it's a great channel for those who know. I'm going to put it in the chat. Valuetainment School. So anyway, so they're doing the big event because I'm waiting for my gear, because I got to have Valuetainment gear to be able to attend. But I think it will be cool because it's election night. Hopefully we win, but we'll see. But it will be a great networking event. So yeah, so I'm doing.
So what I'm hearing you say, Kareem, is that if we give you the link 2 weeks from today, that you'll go live at the event for 2 or 3 minutes on Tuesday. Oh
my God. Well, hold on. Pause. I want to preface this. I want to preface it. I need to be able to get the ticket, because all of them are sold out. I need to be able to get the ticket and then get the gear on time. Yes. If I'm able to be there, hell yeah.
Perfect.
I will go live. Oh yeah, it is a Tuesday. Fuck.
Yeah.
Election night. Oh my God, that would be crazy. Yeah, that That would be insane, bro. The people are gonna be there. It's gonna be crazy. Imagine like the event that you kind of went to, but like now, like, bro, possibly like, you know, Trump might be there. I heard a rumor, but we don't know. That's like on the swamp by, but it's like anyway, could be a lie. I don't know. But
the election's in November. Is that right?
Yeah, it's
2 weeks from today.
Yeah, election night.
Tuesday night.
Tuesday.
Okay. And when is the election over? Like, when have they finished counting all the applicable votes?
Ideally,
never.
Night. Because remember, the popular vote can continue to be counted. We just need the electoral vote. In other words, the number of votes see per state. Because a lot of the time what ends up happening is that we say so-and-so is president, but they keep counting votes. That's just for like what we call popular vote, how many people actually voted, whatever. But that's not really relevant.
But they know the percent, the tipping point where this state is red or this state is blue.
Exactly. One is solid, and it's like there's already a big margin, and it's like basically done. And he has too many, let's say, for example, he wins the majority. I think it's 200. I don't know if it's 270. What's the exact number, Maddie? It's like half of whatever the maximum is, like 200 something. I don't want to misspoke. But let's say once the person is above that 50% solid, even if let's say there's another state that's still counting, we don't know, it's done because he got enough electoral vote to be president, right?
And it's really just like 5 or 6 states that are like the swing
I think
ones,
it's 272. Maddie, correct me if I'm wrong. What's the minimum?
I don't recall.
If somebody knows in the chat, please put it in the chat. What's the thank you, Sean. 270. Perfect. See, 270 because it's whatever the total vote is, and then above 50%. So once you're there, you're basically good. Even if the person gets whatever the rest, it will never account to the 270. So.
Well, I live in Illinois, and we have a lot of dead people that vote. Unfortunately,
yeah, right. That's crazy.
So that's a blue state. Unfortunately, it's lost, but there's hope for all the other states.
Somebody said I should be head of the SEC. I'll take it, but it's funny. We'll get guidance real fast. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I mean, so far, Polymarket, which is the leading betting market where real money is put on chain, is showing Trump's chances are skyrocketing ever since Kamala's been taking the day off and doing so poorly in speeches.
On the actual thing, she says stuff that's crazy. I make her look bad. Now, the polling market, it's kind of like leverage. It's a little bit of manipulation, but I still believe that Trump is ahead. Maybe not by as much as the polling market says, because somebody did a breakdown how because it's kind of like a move based on like investment, because obviously people put their money in it. Yeah. It's kind of a leverage play, and then because to trick some people to go long Bitcoin because everybody knows that Trump is the more pro Bitcoin candidate. So they start to literally traders are so crazy. They'll chart anything. They will chart anything. Bro, they'll be like, oh, ticked up, so I got to go long. Like it's just any reason to just go leverage. But yeah, I mean, but especially the effort Elon's been doing lately, I think that really been helping.
Even the Nate Silver model, which is not based on traders, is saying that it's going to be really close.
Yep.
But that's why Elon started paying people $47 to, register to vote in Pennsylvania and other swing states. And Pennsylvania closed yesterday or the day before in terms of being able to register, but I think he's still giving away $1 million a day to people who.
Yep, he does. All the way to election day. We're $1 million all the way to election day. And we're going to do our part too. Anybody that's in the chat or watching this or watching on the replay, if you're American, please go vote. Please go vote. Please go vote. Funny enough, I wish I could. I can't yet. But again, I'm about to change that after what happened to me with this little island situation. So I decided I might just take this American thing, just call it a day. So, but I won't be able to do it in time until so probably the next election. But it's like, please go vote, please go vote, please go vote. At least you never know. Whoever you vote for, just go vote. That's all we want you to do. You know what I mean? It will be a close election, I think, still, because people underestimate that. As sad as it is, right? Everybody votes for primarily their number one or number two issues. I know for the most part, because I've had some friends, like some of the female that I've been friends that I've had that I've talked to, it's like some of them, at least they can articulate. They're like, hey, I'm voting for Kamala because of, the whole abortion thing, which is fine. I can respect that. At least you stand for something. The people I don't understand is people that, I vote for whatever, but they can't tell me why. It's like, because my family, because I always voted this way. That to me is not logical. That to me, it's not voted based on actual some type of sense. The same way, if I were to vote, for me, my best interest would be, obviously the economy, obviously crypto, obviously border. But everybody got that usually top 2, maybe 3, but top 2 real thing that say, you know what, maybe I don't even like the guy or the girl, but because of that one thing, I'm gonna go for that. So
all right, well, tell me this. I've always voted for the losing candidate. So who should I vote for this time?
Man, if that's your strategy,
it's not a strategy. It's a fact. I'm just saying.
You're reverse Oracle like Jim Cramer.
You don't know.
I'm like the Jim Cramer of voting. Okay, what do you want me to do?
All in on the Democrats now.
Are you inverse Kramer? Is that what you're asking right now?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
No, I mean, listen. Nah, just
it's funny, but it's true.
Yeah, I know, but I think that's more like just act of luck, because you voted for the person and then you didn't know that they would lose until the results was out. So what I mean, there's nothing you can do about it. But at least you can be confident that, hey, you voted for what you think was right and your value. Because if you don't do that and then whoever wins and that's not what you wanted and you realize that, fuck, I could have voted and I didn't, then you have regrets. Now you're like, man, I didn't do my part what I could have. I'd rather do my part if I was able to. And then even if we don't win, hey, you know what? I did my part. That's really what it comes down to. It's kind of like in sports where win or lose, hey, I leave it out there, all on the field. No regrets.
I mean, you could vote in a state that is totally opposite of what you believe, and you could go to the poll and catch election fraud, and you could take a picture of it and post it on X and save the country. So just
that's true. Really. That's another thing. In campuses, they're doing that all over Florida, which I love. They're mobilizing the youth, which is good. Like, hey, be there, be in front of the booth, go vote, obviously, but then be there to try to catch some of that fraud that Maddie's talking about. Because trust me, they are going to try. I've had some friends literally tell me, Georgia example, bro, the mail-in ballot is crazy. The guy told me, bro, he got 7 mails, 7, Maddie, to tell him how to vote. Even though, imagine you already voted, but then you slips. It's almost like they want you to vote multiple times.
Yeah.
The dead people is one thing. Multiple people voting is just a different location, because you went to vote here and then you went to vote over there, different, like even driving an hour away at another location. It's crazy. But who's the one sending those things in the mail? That's what the problem is. Because it's like, you can't do it on your own. Somebody's, and then the whole, no voter ID. Come on, that's crazy. So it's like, that means like, if there's no voter ID, that means like, let's say I can't vote, right? That means like, if I get something in the mail and I just go cast it. Like, what? Nobody's going to ask me for a voter ID.
Elon was saying in one of his speeches, I've been listening to his like hour-and-a-half speeches uncut. And he was like explaining how somebody said, oh, it was so wild in the last election. I tried to show my ID, and they told me no, like, treated it like a vampire treats like holy water or something. And I've had that experience, like at the polls many years, where they don't want to see your ID. Like they're against it.
That's crazy.
Like socially unacceptable.
That's very important. That's not
just like they're not requiring it. It's that they're like socially punishing people who show it. It's crazy.
Exactly. And don't also, another thing too that I find out recently, again, listening to Elon and some viral clips that's going around, don't assume that you are registered already. Very important. Go check, because some people even find out that they got removed, or because if you recently just moved from a state to another state, don't assume, oh, my thing's already registered. No, go check. Make sure you're registered. You don't want to find out last minute and then you're trying to vote and it's like, oh, I'm not registered. And then it's like, boom, can't vote. Like, make sure. Love it. So yeah, make sure you go do that. And then, so I will try to be on that event if I get my ticket on time. But the one, like I said, in Fort Lauderdale, will be a good networking event as well. And we'll go from there.
Where is everybody streaming from right now?
Who, me?
Well, like there's a variety of backgrounds here. Like it looks like ChrispyMan streaming from hell, Fast Abdullah from some sort of courtroom,
Yeah.
myself
Court.
from
I'm in New Orleans right now.
Wow.
Funny, 'cause I work here with John. Oh, by the way, cool fun fact. By the end of the month, if everything goes well, boom, possibly even next week, but I'll say by the end of the month, everybody will be fully paid plus interest. That's awesome.
Hey.
Probably that. I talked to my lawyer actually also earlier yesterday. You know, we're preparing for the 25th, you know, my date for the other, you know, whatever's going on over there. Hopefully that ends well and I can get some of that $40,000 back. That'd be nice. But it's good to see that even, let's say I don't get none of that money back, I'll still be able to pay everybody back by the end of the month. So
Do you want to say something to FUD Hex so you can buy it lower?
So, oh yeah, and make no mistake about it. If I get some of that money back, if everything's cool after I already pay everybody, I'm definitely trying to get my t-shirts back. I've been literally working nonstop. It's funny, and I decided to get a second location here, working with John. So it just makes sense. So funny enough, we're in the middle of moving right now. So we're moving to a higher floor, bigger place. The view is crazy. I'll show you guys a video. I mean, if you follow me on IG, you'll see it there first. But yeah, it's just great stuff. New Orleans is a great city. There's a lot of rich thing going on here. And then they get the Super Bowl this year. It's gonna be good. And then Halloween is also very popular for that. They have a big Taylor Swift concerts coming at the end of it. Apparently it's going to be like 150,000 people here. I mean, crazy fans. So it's like the downtown area hotel rooms are like $2,000 a night. That's how bad it is. Like it's just, she's like, you know, they're like fanatics. So, but it's a beautiful city.
Swifties.
Yeah, it's like a mini Miami in a way, in its own right. It's just more like down to earth, cool stuff, very affordable. That's another thing too. You know, some cities are expensive compared to others. So,
Crispy, you have any more information about Hex to share with us from the corridors of hell or Volcano Land, wherever you are?
That make you uncomfortable?
No, I just can't put my finger on where it is.
There you go.
Now I'm against the wall. So.
That reminds me of the first video of the Hex music video. There's a guy who was rapping the first Hex.
Oh yeah,
he was against the wall like that. It was funny.
That's old school.
That's old school. I wish we had that. Play that. This is such a good song. That inspires so many. And then Corey got on it, and everybody got on it. The Hex.
Merry Hex.
Payday. Oh, it was such a good song, but we have no more Big Payday. We can't talk about it anymore. People are going to be mad.
Where's Fast Abdullah now?
So here's a question for you, right? Regarding Hex, right? So you know we're in 2040 now for Cuatro Cincos.
Yes, sir.
We have 228, 230 t-shirts that are set up there. So I guess the question I wouldn't mind getting getting our listeners to answer. Like, so are we Cuatro Cinco in or aren't we? People interested in this or are they not? Right? Because it is obviously a very long-term play. 15-year cycles. And so yeah. Just kind of curious about that because it goes hand in hand with the beginning of the stream, with what are we telling ourselves? What are we telling other people? Now I know what I'm going to do is I know that we finished up last year about 3.5 t-shirts was enough to be a dolphin. So at the very least, I'll probably put out there 3.5 t-shirts.
Wow.
Yeah, my plan for me personally, seriously, it's very simple, right? It's like, especially at this end of the month coming, and again, I don't want to jinx it because I don't know what's going to happen in that virtual court, but because it might be dragged all the way to 2025, I don't know. But hypothetically speaking, best case scenario, we end that relatively soon, and then somewhere in November, it ends up with a fine, whatever, and then I can get the rest of my money wired back to me. I'm loading up Hex. My mission is simple. I got to get 500 t-shirts back. That's about roughly how much I lost on that one that I ES because it was big payday loading, all that kind of stuff. But at the very least, just getting that many back, and I'm gonna lock it right on that hole that I have in the time frame. So I might end up, obviously, because t-shirt costs more money now, but I might end up having to do multiple stakes. But I'm gonna have multiple stakes.
So how many t-shirts? How many t-shirts?
500.
T-shirts.
Oh, dude. You do
Yeah.
500? You can do them Quattro Cinco?
Yeah. No, because they were long-term stake. You know, when I was in the hole, so I had to.
You'll be like
What about
you'll be an instant Poseidon, man.
what about Desi, man?
Well, that too. But Maddie, remember, I'm talking like native first in a sense where, remember, I had a ladder. Remember, all the way to the golden yacht. Remember, this is the plan that I did 5 years ago.
You ended the shortest one, so you need to replace.
Remember, it was like that. It was like 10 and a half, 11 and a half, and it moved every 6 months. So it rolls over 2 million plus. So by the time they end, it'll be like 10, 15, 20 million. Because right now, I mean, it's all public. Dream account has about 240 million hex, more or less.
Did you end on Pulse or Ethereum or both?
I did a symmetry end. I end one on Pulse, one on Hex, the same day, same time. It was the 10-year one because, again, quick math, it was the one who have the most completion, less amount of penalty. That still lost fucking 80%. All the big just thinking about it, oh my God, hurts my soul. But anyway, that's the mission to get that back. So most likely
60 or 70% off. So like
I get it, but listen to what I'm saying. I want the time frame because now I have a hole. Now instead of 10, 10 and a half, 11, 11 and a half, all the way 15, now I got a hole. I got nothing at 10. And then so it's like I gotta fix the hole first. I'm gonna keep buying Hex forever. Like it's not, I need to fix the hole first.
Desi's a 10-year stake.
And then
you can buy a 10-year stake 2 years in. That's what he's saying. Right? So you can get cheaper B-share.
Because I need to, like, it's so meticulous, Maddie. If you go and look at it literally says January 1st, 2031, June 1st, 2029, January 21. It's like it has to be on that day because I factor a lot of things into it: taxes, timing, lifestyle. You know what I mean? It has to be on that date. The problem with those other ones is whenever that stake was created. Don't get me wrong. Eventually, once I plug the hole, I'm gonna get that back. But like I told people, like when I work very hard like I'm doing right now, like I can generate. I've been generating like last month I generated $30,000. $30,000 fresh new fucking money. This is how I was able to pay those people back. Kareem is a man of his word. If he says he's gonna pay back, he's gonna pay back. So imagine I can continue to generate that amount, no guarantee because it's sometimes high and low, but at least 20,000. After I'm done paying everybody back, I roughly have about 10K left to pay back between the people. So some of it was like personal friends. Some of it is the 5K crypto that's left. And then the rest is personal friend. But once I, because it doesn't make sense. It's very disrespectful. You're going to take the money and go invest and then you don't pay back your people. That's crazy. You don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But once I clear all that and I'm generating new stuff, then watch. I'm going to plug the hole fast. Once I plug the hole, then Desi's on the list. You know what I mean? I like some Desis. I like some Hedron. Things that I know is in the ecosystem. Obviously, shout out to Fast Abdul. It convinced me. Eventually, I'm probably gonna get a little, liquidity pair going on. Let me get some rise it up to like maybe 50K, something like that.
Yeah, he almost convinced me.
There's a hot new one coming for you. There's the actuator protocol where that all kind of like Desi and Maximus represents hex stakes. They're going to have new farms on 2FUCKS pretty soon. So there'll be yet another way you can farm with little or no impermanent loss, hex against hex against hex, with using the actuator protocol. So nice. We're totally
big shout out to Groovor in the chat. Thank you so much for that breakdown. That helps me out. I was just about to think how much is that roughly. So 500 T-share, current price, PHEX, 6.28 mil. All right, cool, 75K. Yeah. So if I hustle hard, maybe by my birthday, February 3rd, shout out to me, hopefully, turning 35, I'll be able to hopefully rack 75K of new money and then plug. Yep. And then how much is that in EHEX? Because I need to go get the 500 T-shirts from there too. Maddie, I might do the Desi thing on Ethereum. Maybe that. Because I just realized, fuck, I gotta do it on 2 chains. Fuck, I lost 1,000 T-shirts. I lost most.
It's somewhere around 12 or 13 grand.
Yeah, all right, cool. So that one should be easier to get.
Yeah, people have been trading those ratios lately, man. We came way down, like almost, I think it was at 7. 7 EHEX per PHEX, and now we're going back up a little bit. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not in that ratio game, but I understand.
No, I'm not. Me, like I said, I'm just plugging my map again because my plan is set. Because then when I hit the 10-year mark, like it's like I had the whole vision, right? Is you'll be like, well, I'll be turning close to 40. You get that new 40, and it'll be like, turn up, and then now it's like cruise control.
We need to check when the dream account becomes a Poseidon, because we can forecast that now.
Oh yeah.
So man, there's a year where that'll happen.
Hopefully,
whether it's 2039, 38, 40, I don't know, become a Poseidon.
The first auto operation very soon, hopefully, is dream account by itself will reach.
Well, it's a real mixed bag when we look at the people who've done the staking for 2039. Right. Mm-hmm. Obviously, much smaller number of people, in terms of addresses, much smaller number of T-shares. It's kind of a mixed bag because some of the people, have a pretty nice all-in score to start with, but it's not like like when we normally look at the T-share days remaining, on all the stakes, it's not the same group of people. It is not the same group of people. Probably some crossover. It's a whole new group of people that are going to become, right now anyways, become whale sharks, Poseidon, your Majesty.
And that's what you want for healthy growth, right? Consistency. You want new blood, new people, new variety, new time frame. Like my goal for the dream account was just no matter what, because I'm expecting, obviously, as time goes, Hex going to get more and more expensive, so it'll be harder to get more T-shirt, obviously. But I want to, maybe not Poseidon, but my goal is to get it to whale status. That'll be nice.
You'll definitely be whale. You'll be whale. If you put 500 out there, you'll be whale for sure. If you go out Quattrocinco with them. Yep. Gonna add those, and then because then this is how, when the first big stakes start to end, this is gonna be the secret, right? And they'll end with that big payday. And now all of a sudden, when I'm going to recuperate T-shares, even though T-share will probably at that time I'm extrapolating, but the way we're trending, we could be year 10. We should be around anywhere from 60,000, 70,000 hex per T-shirt. That's just a guesstimate. Could be more, could be less. Again, human behavior is factored in. But my guess is that what year?
2030.
2030. Would you believe that I actually have those numbers?
Yes, sir. I know you do. Hopefully people continue to behave like the ending state goes. And can you tell me roughly what it is so I can explain what I'm trying to say here?
Yeah. I'll tell you in a second here.
Nice.
2030. It's a pretty sure bet in my head, about 100K.
100K. Ooh, okay. See,
I'm
trying to be conservative, but even better.
As you go into 2030.
Gotcha. So now at that point, what end up happening is 230. Let's say it's 100K, right? Compared to some of my early stake, whatever, it's a 9x increase because they're like right around 11,000 hex per T-shirt, whatever. So there's a 9x increase. I'm confident that everything included plus big payday bonus, the number of yield accrue will be 9x what I started with, because they were like 2 million hex stakes, and then now they all have like 10 millions, roughly 9-10 millions on that. So it's like they already are that 4 or 5x multiplier. So by 2030, they should be able to give me 9x, 10x. So once I go and restake and I park it the long term, I'm going to get this T-shirt back and I'm going to try to get new T-shirts. That's how I'm going to make it go well status and then possibly Poseidon, just by just using the existing yield, take what I need, restake the rest plus more, because I'm probably going to need less. Because now, even if like, oh my God, I put it for 15 years, but that's cool. Because guess what? Every 6 months, I have a distribution coming in. So at that point, it's not like, oh my God, I just did a new 15-year stake and then I got no money for 10 years. No, it will be like, there's money coming in every 6 months. So now when I start parking things that I don't need, I'll be able to do that while not being afraid that, hey, money's coming in. And again, shout out to Fast Abdul. By then, I probably definitely have some liquidity farms going on somewhere. So it will just be like a combination of things. So the goal is to raise the T-share count while at the same time, like, adjusted for risk and stuff like that. So that way I kill two birds in one stone. I want to continue to build wealth because that's the goal. I think that's the mindset, always get more, but do it in a way that, put yourself in a tough spot. So yeah, shout out to my friend.
I want to go up 2 levels. That sounds cool.
Oh, you want to be a Poseidon too? Nice.
Dude, I'm not. No.
It's good to have dreams. We're all reaching. Right?
Yes.
But you
Dream
can.
accounts.
But see,
No,
right
because
now,
listen,
you're young
the cool
enough,
thing,
and you can do it right now. You can go up.
I'm gonna put it to you in perspective, right? I'm gonna put it to you in perspective, right? Why I like those things, and then shout out to Steph for creating those things back in the day when we have Hex.live. The reason why it's important is it goes back to one of the first fundamental training that I did for people when I first got into Hex, and some of the big people that are on board that has millions of dollars. And I told them the reason why this is a good indicator is because ultimately what matters, the true value, I deeply believe this in my heart, the true value of hex staking and delayed gratification, all the great stuff that we talked about and good for mental health, is that once you get to a section where it fulfills your dreams and what you like to do, you and your family, and let's say your community, you know, because I have a big heart, right? For those who don't know, my name, Kareem, in Arabic, it means the most generous. You can Google it. Abdel Kareem, my dad gave me that name. It means the most generous. Now, I have obviously crazy dreams, but again, go big or go home, right? The reason why I need the status, it's not so much about, oh, yeah, well, no, it's the fact that once you apply the teaching, let's say account's worth $1 billion. I'm gonna give you an example. Or let's just say, to make it more, realistic, let's say 100 mil, okay? But then, like I was telling my friend, don't worry about the 100 mil, because chances are you're not gonna be able to cash out all that, and you don't even need to cash out all that and do all the taxable issue, whatever. I'm looking at it, if he able to generate me, let's say hypothetically, $1 million a month, to me, I would take that $1 million a month and don't care about the 100 mil. If I have to own something structure-wise, just kind of like a business, right? And we're in the business of T-shirt, your employees, whatever. The 100 mil is just the business, the structure that generates a yield. And let's say I'm doing very low estimate, right? Because what's that? It's 100 mil, $1 million a month. You by running 1% a month. So let's say, and with some combination of yield farm or whatever, you're earning about, let's say, roughly 12% yield a year, which is very realistic, right? Everybody knows that because we can compound 30, whatever, but I'm just shooting low ball. Account's worth 100 mil. You generate $1 million a month. I'm good. Everything that I ever wanted to do, I can do that with $1 million a month. I don't need the 100 mil. It literally, because then I protect the golden goose, it gets me what I need. I can take care of my friends. I can take care of my family. I can take care of myself. I can travel the world, which I always want to do. I can party because I love to party. That's not going to stop. I can eat healthy. I can donate to a cause that I care about. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I put things in perspective. People look at me like $100 million. What I'm going to do? No, I actually wouldn't want to have $100 million because I know myself and I know how money can be. It's easy to do dumb shit. You get $100 million cash liquid. I swear to you, within 6 months, some people, they won't even last a week. You're going to make a dumb purchase for somewhere around 10 to $15 million that literally a year from now, after that purchase, you're going to be like, what the fuck? Why the hell did I buy this thing? I don't even need it. And how wasteful capital can be. It just becomes just too much. Already that shit is locked. Just give me the $1 million. Just give me like trust fund kid. Give me my allowance. I'm going to work with that. Run out of money. I'll do something crazy. Hey, wait next month. You run out of allowance. But everything liquid. Again, I live in Miami and I travel the world. So it's like, that's not even counting all the vultures, the fake friends, the people who are like, oh, bro, but you got all this money. Give me this, give me that. Taxes, sometimes family. I hate to say it, but they'll all come. Make no mistake about it. I've seen it at low level. I don't need the 100 mil yet. I've seen it with tens of millions of dollars. So I know, I can only imagine what it's going to be. 100 mil, $1 billion, it gets even worse. And I watch how billionaires are already living. And a lot of the time, you watch the wealthier they get, the more simplistic they are. They have their big cars that they focus on. And then the rest, they just go about their day, dress regular, do the thing that they always love to do. And that's it. And that to me is really the true power of staking. I know some people are like, oh my God, it's so dumb, this, that. No, I don't need none of that. I don't need that stress. Because sometimes too much money, if you're not ready for it, you're going to go crazy. It's like literally it brings you more problems than solutions until you learn how to manage it. So that's why literally I would rather, boom, same mindset. If it goes $1 billion, all right, cool. I'll lock it up. Give me 10 million a month. I'd rather have that than the $1 billion because again, I know I'm going to do something dumb. Somebody's going to come convince me to buy a jet, or somebody's going to come convince me to do something that I know that it will feel good in the moment. You get the clout, you get the, oh my God, look at what I did. But then you'll look back and be like, man, that money was just wasted. The thing's just going to sit around somewhere. Like, you know what I'm saying? The only reason why the whole idea behind the golden yacht was because to some degree, it's like a building, but it's movable. I'm on international water. I can go anywhere around the world because there's a lot of, water. It's the biggest mass that we have from this planet. So I literally thought about it. I was like, oh, it would be one thing. And then you can just dock the boat and chill or go around. A jet, literally, every time that shit is landed, if it's not used, you're wasting money. There's a study that even showed jets actually rust faster if they're not being used. You have to constantly fly. You let it sit down 6 months, it can even cause even more problems. And then the jet fuel and all this other stuff. I'm not saying docking a boat is cheap, but the point is, compared to like a jet and whatever, and then there's some place you just can't go. Versus you're in international water, you're just chilling. Nobody's gonna, you know what I mean? You have your security and stuff like that. And then if you need to go somewhere, you just go international water near wherever you need to be, and then you can catch a smaller boat to go wherever you need to go.
Or with that being said, we have expired our 2 hours and 20 minutes, which has been another great episode. So let's go around the room and tell everybody where to find you. ChrispyMan.
Oh, yeah.
Abdul.
You can find Kareem.
I got a tweet.
Kareem and E-Cream.
On the lower, E-Cream and yeah.
Be careful, man. Somebody's going to fucking create a coin like that. Be careful. Don't be saying stuff like that.
Get out of here, people.
Oh, my God. You're killing me. Hexfire.io. Come on over. Come check it out. Come join the fun. Yep. Working pretty hard on consults and all that type of stuff. So, yeah.
Awesome. Fast?
You can find me at 2fucks.io as displayed on the screen. And soon bribery.io will also be.
Bribery?
Yeah. Bribery.
Damn. Going hardcore.
Like the
for
fruit.
all your bribe, on-chain tokenized bribe needs, we got you covered.
Shout out to my brother Hex Monkey, funny as hell.
Awesome.
Yeah, I thought Abdul just fucked me for a second. I was like, oh my God, be careful. Don't go by the court, please. I have nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys can find me at Your Magic on Twitter, easy, or X, I guess. And Kareem Crypto Cuatro Cinco. That's where I am from Instagram. That's where I'll be posting the new good view that we have here in New Orleans, which is awesome. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you for coming. I love you very much. Stay blessed, stay, date, and chill. We got this. And for me, I have these coins available for a limited time. They're running out. Go ahead and order yours today. SolidUsKey.com. You can have the easiest way to onboard into Pulse Chain with a physical crypto coin that can be used as a collectible. It can be used to increase your knowledge of how private keys work, or it can be a gift where you gift your family, friends, celebrities, and acquaintances with stake text or anything time locked in Time Pays Me. So very cool product from myself that you can get at SolidUsKey.com. And all my links are at mati.pls.fyi. And as you can see, we've had a plethora of different backgrounds today. So hopefully you got to tune in visually. But yeah, another great show. And again, from the title, want to get rich or believe in something. And some people believe we'll get both. So until next time, stake wisely, my friends, and peace out.
Stay crispy. That talking to you, Franklin, and Hex Monkey. Wow, look at that. Kareem Maddie's amazing.
I want to believe.
Believe.